So, welcome to session one. Just a precursor to this, Group A set the bar kind of high comparatively. I'm unsure how they were able to pull off Cirque du Soleil meets Three Stooges, but still maintain enough forward progression to completely finish chapter one of their module.
Wow.
I'm not sure how they pulled that off.
The dice were on their side.
Oh, no, because Frank literally almost died twice and then was downed once by the end of that. So dice rolls were not friendly. They just somehow kept steaming through it. Yeah, it was impressive to say the least. But yeah, I mean, I got high hopes for this group. It actually kind of worked out. Weirdly enough. So for the setup for this module, we're going to be running through. You guys have your backstories, so I've gone over them with you guys, filled out as much as I could. Lore-wise, in that vein, before we kick this off and start with session one completely, are there any questions lingering on lore or anything related to your characters, or no? Everybody good? Cool.
I'm gonna assume I've never been to this place that we're before, so I'm a foreigner.
Yes. Well, and particularly because each of you, through means related to your backstories, have found yourself aboard a ship, a cruiser in particular. Flying through the skies at the moment on its way to LSD, where you're being tasked with a mission. Each one of you brought in for a particular set of skills or through a particular level of notoriety or infamy, depending, as needed for this particular setup. But in return, the organization that has reached out and contacted you has agreed to aid you in your own personal endeavors in some way. Very non-specific, very non-committal, but also they haven't given the name of their organization yet really either. This is the first meeting with these individuals. You've been brought upon the cruiser and everything like that, given accommodations for the moment aboard the ship called the Crimson Adversary. You are to be meeting up with two individuals in particular. One is the captain and one is the vice captain. An individual who approached you, named Zalith, Zalith, is the recruiter that, upon hearing of each one of you in some way, shape, or form, contacted you with a potential to earn money in gold, as well as favor with an organization that, according to him, has some significant reach. So, with that being said, the internal communication system on the airship in each of your rooms pipes up and says, please report to the main dining hall. It is time for you to meet with the captain and the vice captain.
What was the name of both of them?
Well, you were
And
given the
which one was
name
which?
of the vice captain,
Vice
or
captain.
not the vice captain, the recruiter and the captain.
Yeah.
Zalith, Zalith, is your recruiter, and Evlar is the name of the captain, Evlar. So, I'm assuming each one of you make your way to the dining car area at this point.
Yep.
Go ahead and just give me D20 rolls so we can see who's arriving when.
Can we do like real dice? Is that cool?
Yeah, if you want. 17 for Rasben, 11 for Ember.
I rolled a big fat 1.
Okay, Kerrigan is the last to arrive.
First roll of the century.
No. Rasben, you are the first to arrive, at which point the captain is sitting at a table in the center of the dining hall, in the position of power and authority at the top of the table. Sitting next to his left-hand side is the recruiter that you're aware of, Zalith. Looks at you, kind of gives you the once-over, nods towards the seat, and says, "Why don't you have a seat? We're waiting on the rest of your crew to arrive."
So I was first down and directed to take a seat.
Yep. The rest of your crew should be arriving shortly.
All right, fair enough. Is there any food here?
Yeah, there's a few like smatterings of like salted meats, some fruits and veggies, kind of on a platter. Not like a full meal, but enough to snack on, as well as a few pitchers of water with cups.
Yep. Grab myself a nice, healthy plate of snacks and some water and sit down and await others.
All right. So after a couple minutes, then Ember, you show up in the room. Captain nods at you. The recruiter nods. Recruiter addresses you by names. Welcome, Ember. Ember, nice to meet you. Please, and motions towards one of the seats as the captain kind of nods and motions towards the same.
So I'll nod without expression and sit at the far end of the table.
Fair enough. Which point, I would say, Kerrigan, you... With a 1, I'm going to say... You come in with somebody else's wineskin, somehow.
Oh boy.
And, like, tipping it up, look over... Oh, right. Kind of thing. And the captain kind of looks you over, smiles a little bit, and Zalas kind of looks at you and goes, Kerrigan, welcome. I guess at this point in time we can begin, Captain. I'm aware.
Should I sit or just stand here?
The captain kind of nods and motions towards one of the seats.
Thank you.
Well, now that you've all arrived, not sure what Mr. Zalas has said to you. We work for an organization who specializes in a multitude of acquisitions, elimination, and other tactics, let's say. Operating in somewhat of a morally gray region of society. With that being the case, we've been tasked with the current mission, and its difficulty seemed adequate to test potential new recruits. This does pay. I will start with that. Now, how it pays is entirely up to your discretion. It can pay gold if that's what you're after. If not, it could pay with information. I know that some of you that would appeal to. Outside of that, each one of you at the end of said test, and once its completion is confirmed, will be granted the opportunity to join the organization in a more permanent role. Now, you can choose not to accept this, but as we're still mid-flight, the option of leaving the vessel is somewhat limited. But, given the fact that each one of you have arrived here at this point, I'm assuming, and he looks at the recruiter, that your skills would prove invaluable. And at the end of the day, after you've completed the mission, if you so choose not to join our organization, that is your discretion. Any questions so far?
So you're not gonna have us killed if we leave? I mean, after the mission.
No. If you've done work for us, we do have individuals we contract to occasionally. Some previous friends of yours even. As he looks pointedly at you. Oh. They've done work for us in the past. Contracts are contracts, as it were. And not everyone likes to deal with the Hunters Guild. So.
That makes sense.
They have strict rules, let's say. But if all of you are agreeable to these methods and are willing to undertake this test, Payment is guaranteed at the end of the test. Should you survive, and recruitment into the organization will be guaranteed if you survive and complete. So let's move right along then, shall we? At this point, the vice captain does come into the room. This is Maris. Maris, comparatively, is interesting compared to the two gentlemen sitting in front of you. Zalith is very much a slender-built half-elf who smirks like he's the smartest man in the room, as like his natural resting face type situation. The captain, on the other hand, is very much has the air and demeanor about him like a stoic warrior type person. In that regard. Trying to see here based on y'all's passives. All right, and the vice captain, when she enters the room, you kind of give me a passive or give me a perception check. Let's just see. After that, we're gonna get this rolling. Let's just see if y'all catch this. $14, 22, Jesus. 13, okay. That works out. You guys all got above it enough. You're good.
Made it.
Elvar almost instinctually goes to stand when Maris walks in the room. Not so much like out of... You definitely get the sense it's more of a situation of respect to the vice captain's capability as an individual. And it's evident in the way she carries herself. If that makes sense. I'm trying to think of how to say this.
Maris, the vice captain, is very clearly capable or whatnot.
Yeah, she's clearly capable, but it's more than just that. There's an air about her that when you're close enough to her type thing, you just feel like things are going to go good.
She smells nice.
Kinda. She sits down at a table on the right-hand side of the captain. Apologies, Captain, for the delay. I was dealing with some errant crew. Captain acknowledges. Not a problem. Now, if you're looking to join us, you need to prove worthy of bearing our emblems, our markings, as it were. So with this test, we're really going to put you through the ringer a bit. You're going to steal a ship from a... How should I put this? Maris chimes in at this point. She's like, well, pompous, arrogant asshat of a captain who thinks he's better than everyone. And he's not wrong half the time. Yes. Exactly. We're going to be headed to the city of Elistine. The noble in question is part of the House of Lordain. And his ship is what we're after. Crystal Maiden.
What kind of ship is it?
The skiff, technically. However, its design and general uses are unique. It is technically meant to participate in the continent-wide race. Sadly, the Crystal Maiden in previous years has won several times over despite obvious efforts, and the current head of the Lordain noble family is looking to renew his grandfather's good fortune in that regard. In one such instance, we had rigged the race so that our organization could win. Yet, our pilot at the time took the last turn a little too rough and slammed into the cliffside, unable to finish the race. And this captain, despite his ship being heavily damaged and sabotaged almost to the point of destruction, was able to win. Now, With that being said, I will say that the man's skills were quite legendary. He had won 72 previous races up to that point. But this new lord of that noble house is not his grandfather. And as a reminder of that, we would like to acquire his ship without his ability to stop it. Now, with that being said, it has been a pleasure to meet each one of you. Ember, Rasben, Kerrigan. I hope to see you again later on. For now, I will leave this to the Vice Captain and Salif to explain the rest of the details of the job. I must attend to matters of my ship, thankfully. At this point, as he leaves the room, Maris lets out kind of a heavy sigh. He's like, alright, like the captain said, you're going to be stealing an airship. Luckily, it's a racing skiff that we're targeting, so it won't be demanding to pilot it back to our base, but it doesn't mean that it'll be easy to get. The ship we're targeting is called the Crystal Maiden. It holds a sore spot for us in the Syndicate. Now that the ship is on display to bring tourists back to town, and the stories are being told again, old wounds have been reopened, especially for myself and the captain. I'll be providing assistance when necessary. However, this is on you to figure out how to steal it and weigh what risks you're willing to take. My advice, case the town first, look at the ship, find out what you'll be up against, and most of all, blend in. Now, in case none of you can perform any bell driving, we can provide an item that allows you to do so. Alternatively, I have some practice in it, so I'll be accompanying you when you plan on stealing the maid. However, I don't plan on assisting until it's ready to be piloted.
So you're driving this thing when we get it?
To get it out of the city and into a safer harbor, yes.
Okay. Extra clarity. It is a water ship, right?
It's an airship.
It's an airship?
No, it's an airship.
Okay. Alrighty. Just want to get that cleared up.
And is it a mission failed if we destroy the ship?
Sadly, yes. And we do need it as intact as possible. Particularly, at the bare minimum, lightworthy.
Okay.
If it's without a scratch, it will look better on your assembled crew here. So, bear that in mind. Now, the captain has deemed it fit for you guys to do this however you wish, but I don't believe Lord Ludane is a fool. Last I knew of the man, he was overly cautious individual under the best of times. Sadly, that has been some years, and that information may or may not be relevant. But that's all I can say for the moment. Zealous at this point, it's like smiling, that crooked little smile he has, and nodding along, looking at you guys, looking at her.
Alright, well, how under heavy guard is this ship? Like, it's not in a public harbor or anything, is it?
Oh, no, it's in a private harbor that's technically functioning as a tourist display location at the moment.
Okay.
The ship is on display as well as the stories of the legendary captains of the ship previously. They're using it to draw tourism right before the race.
How far away is the race? How many days?
We have some time. It's more in the line of a few months. Kerrigan in particular, give me a history check, because you might be aware of this. Okay, yeah. So basically, this is an intercontinental race. All those contestants end up meeting up at the starting city. In this particular instance this year, it is Solstrom, part of the Solstarian Empire. The ships will all meet there and start from there, at which point they will loop around the eastern continent, then crossing the seas in the lower portions, and then hitting the western continent and looping through it and back around to Solstrom is the final location. Total trek time should be about 6 months. The entire event will be displayed through most cities, through arenas and different events and things of that nature. But generally speaking, it is a big to-do for every city. Not only does the winner's purse net substantial money return, the clout that comes with it afterwards is enough to get you invited to almost every noble house's dinner party. You know what I mean? So as a captain or something like that, or aspiring captain, it's a good way to get your name in the right mouths. You know what I mean? Secondary to that one, even the gangs and different shadier organizations through most cities pay attention to it. Because there's normally money to be made by, shivving the right captain at the right moment, or shoving a anti-magic stone into the engines of the right ship. Yeah, there's a lot of ways that people profit off this, and not just in the race. And it does come around once a year. And specifically, it's 2 months out right now.
Okay.
Do we need something special to make the ship go? Like a key or a certain stone or some magical bullshit?
Normally yes, but we've taken steps to aid you in this regard and she pulls up this small little rod, it looks like at first, and she hits a button on the side and it expands into what looks like a staff with a small crystal at the top. This is a spell drive override. Plug it into the ship near the crystal, and it overrides its mechanisms to allow it to do what we want it to do when we want it to do it. If you're versed in flying airships, that is. Which I guess I should ask at this point. Are any of you familiar with airship operation or the ability to fly them?
I hate them.
Right?
We're on an airship currently.
And
Yes.
that's why I'm eating, to distract me from
This
it.
is my first time.
Right, okay. Guess Alice didn't make this easy. She kind of pointedly looks at him across the table, like, really, motherfucker?
Look, if this thing is docked at solid ground, and your person's gonna drive it, if it's not under heavy guard, and we're in this, we have yet to figure out. Hi, I'm Rasben, by the way, you two. We figure out how we can just get directly onto it by, attack or by charm, then what have you. But the moment we get on that thing, I'm binding myself to the mast if this thing has a mast.
It does. A couple of them.
I mean, it has a reputation for being very fast, so I would imagine as long as we can get in it, we win.
Getting in it and getting out of the city.
Well, yeah.
Elistine is, as you're aware, I'm assuming, kind of gives you a look, and then is not exactly a city that's easily extricated. They do have their own ships readily available for patrol, as well as several dragon riders on retainer. So things could get a little rough.
This is going to be a hot pursuit, isn't it? Is it?
I guess that would entirely depend on your actions leading up to the moment of us extricating.
Well, I've gotten things away from people in the past without them knowing, so we should be able to do it again. Kerrigan,
Yes.
by the way.
Nice to meet you, Kerrigan.
I've never been to this city that we are going to, but hello, I'm Ember.
At this point, Maris kind of looks over each of you for a second, looks over at Zalis. I'm hesitant to ask because I know it's impolite, but are you sure you're up to the task? As she kind of looks to each one of you.
Of course.
Yes.
Definitely.
Very well. Well, as to how and what methods you take when you arrive at Elistine to get access and install this spell driver override, that is entirely up to you. The organization likes ingenuity, outside the box thinking, and giving you the freedom to operate how you so choose. But there is a time limit. At the end of the month, the ship is due to set sail and head to Solstrom to begin prep for the race there. So you have 1 month's time to figure out a way in, get to the ship, get the spell driver override installed, and get the ship out of the city with my assistance at that point.
How do we
Now-
contact you when we're ready? Sorry.
Well,
I
was
was
that
just I was just going to
Before we
ask
go.
if you'd be piloting the ship remotely once we have the spell override in the ship, or will there be another individual with us?
Sadly, I had an individual working that who's been less than cooperative. However, when you do need me to get to the ship, he slides this gem onto the table and says, "Would any of you can take this?" It's basically a sending stone that contacts her directly with a unlimited range. So, contact me through this. I will arrive in less than 12 hours, and we will get ready to go. If you need me there sooner, that can be arranged, but at the minimum, I would need at least 1 hour. So, and teleporting into an unknown location under fire is not advisable. So, bear that in mind. Do you have any further questions at this time?
Just clarifying, we use that stone. You kind of show up where that stone is within about an hour, and then
Yes.
we're good for. Okay. Okay.
If we are still at approach to get onto the vessel and leave, that's fine. I will aid where I can at that point. You've done the legwork. It's my job to get there and pilot it.
Right. Okay. Just get access.
Your primary mission at this point would be to disable security measures, find out what those security measures are, and, if possible, gain access to the ship to install the spell driver override without being noticed, and then call me in.
Is there a map or a diagram of this port? Something to inform us of the environment?
I'm sure it exists somewhere.
Oh, goody.
Can't make it too easy for you.
No. Alright, well, it sounds like.
How noticeable is this spell over driver once it's installed?
I mean, if they're looking for it, they'll find it, but if it's tucked away, as long as it's in contact with one of the major spell drives, it should be fine.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
I guess the hardest part of this mission is going to be doing it without being found out at all. Now, if they find out after the fact, well, tough luck for them.
Okay. I think it's. Might we reach out to you once we've started getting our plans together? We're just going to be housed on this ship for the next month, it sounds like, until time's up on this. Should we not get this offer?
We're gonna be in the city.
Oh, right.
The issues with Elistine's security measures throughout the city, more than one shot from that crystal would be noticed by individuals you definitely don't want involved. Lawkeepers.
So it's send you notice only once we have the plan enacted and ready to go.
Pretty much.
All right.
The
How far away are we
lawkeepers of the
from?
city do much communication.
All right. How far away from town at this point?
Well, I'd say you'd be able to rest for about an hour if you so choose. We're not far out from the city as a whole. We're coming into the middle tier, which is the merchant district and shopping centers, pretty much. Give me 1 second. Someone just called.
Cool. So it sounds like, well, the captain's away. What might you two be good at? Because my background is far more in the hunting category, so I am confident in a nighttime excursion with minimal violence, but I'd like to see what else we can what use we can do together.
I'm personally very competent blending in places.
I am too.
So we're just a bunch of sneaky motherfuckers. Okay. Sounds like a good start. I'd hate for us to have any loud clientele or loud persons in this group setting. Doesn't seem like they're coming back just yet. Since we have a month, does anyone have any input or any naysays that we spend at least a full week getting ourselves mapped out and figuring and getting a mapping of the city as it relates to this private port?
I can probably help us with that. I'm from there.
Wonderful.
My thought was that at the very least, myself and oh God, what is your name?
Rasben.
Rasman, thanks. Because my
Okay.
name I wanted to go to Kerrigan. We could at the very least further map out the private harbor using the ploy of tourists, exploring where the ship is.
I like that. Mosey around, have some snacks, and get a pretty easy, at least what is seen by the public eye. Would any of your background information, Kerrigan, inform us of any other, let's say, utility access in the area?
Perhaps. I spent most of my life dealing with the lesser areas of that city. So I may still have some connections. It's been a while, but maybe.
Let us know if you need any encouragement items for your contacts. We'll see if we can pull something together. So I think we got our first round of things to do when we land. Do we have actually... I don't believe I remember the captain or the vice mentioning where we were going to be staying at while we're in town,
I meant
actually.
to ask, but then he got a phone call.
Tragic.
So it happens when you're the vice captain. You get pulled in many directions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess from here it is... I can't think of much else to think about doing other than mapping out the situation, just to actually get a read. Did you have any fun ideas or things you wanted to attempt on this heist?
I think at the moment it's just getting there and mapping out to the security measures so that we know what to disable and when to make this as easy as possible.
Or distract.
So, by the way, out of character, I am a tiefling, and I'm a type of tiefling that it's called Malbog. So I have like illusion magic.
Cool. Okay.
Self-illusion. Like I can look like anybody.
Fantastic.
And
So just
And-
in case I didn't want to get into that like in character. But anyway.
out of character, like above table, my character is a changeling. So
You can do it too.
Yup.
We are both sneaky.
For visual display above table and in table, I'm just a minotaur, so I have nothing exceptional for camouflage. This is where back in character, providing how small you are, and I'm not sure what you are.
I'm 5 foot.
What you are.
Oh,
We're back in table, honey.
okay.
Yeah. Not sure what you are.
I currently display as relatively human.
That relative part's really creepy.
I'm not going to get into that now.
Don't need you to. Respect. Fully. The only thing I can think of is if you two are quite the sneaky sneakers, should we find ourselves needing a distraction, I think that could be an alternative or an easier routing, and I don't have to get on a super fast airship. I just have to make sure that I can get away from whatever distraction's created.
Yeah.
You really don't want to get on this ship, huh?
Well, no one said we had to be on it.
We just have to get the stone.
We also, if there's any security on the ship, that will have to be dealt with getting her to the ship to fly it out.
How big is the ship?
Big enough to hold 4 or 5 people, I'm assuming. If it's cross country, 6 months, it's gotta be big enough ship to withhold at least a few people. I gotta look up how big a skiff is.
Apologies.
I can't imagine a skip is that big of a ship.
I don't know what a skiff is.
It's a racing ship. It's not a big ship. And they can
Skiff
refuel.
technically falls.
But it's an airship. So
Skiff
it doesn't
technically falls under a 10-man crew
Okay. So,
normally.
alrighty. So,
You can operate it with a skeleton crew of a minimum 3 to 4 people.
thank you, Captain. We're just verifying how much I need to be on this ship to acquire possession of the ship before launch.
I would say that would be very dependent upon how public you are during the execution of everything. If your cover's not blown when you send me the message, I can bring my own crew with me. We take the ship and leave. You guys are not marked in any way. We leave it and walk away. At which point we will send a recruiter. She kind of looks over at Zealous at this point, to pay you out and bring any along who would like to join the organization.
That's a winning combination right there. Just need to find out what's a good distraction, because I don't think, for as much as I might like the idea of it, open combat to fight our way through the port, through the pier to get on the ship doesn't seem all too much. And I don't think my two comrades here, not questioning their adeptness or ability, want to fight through a whole port and pier just to get onto this ship. Doesn't seem conducive to their strengths nor conducive to this mission.
I mean,
So-
it is an option, I will say that. However, I do
Do you have explosives?
personally tend to agree.
Or is there some site of note near this port?
Explosives would damage the ship.
You're not listening to the whole idea. I've been talking about distractions this whole time. Nothing is blowing up on the ship, just within like 2 blocks of the ship.
I mean,
You expect things to go well.
Miss Grimm, if I'm not mistaken, you're familiar with the city a bit?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in Elistine, it is possible to acquire a great many of things that could aid in the endeavor.
Yes.
So there is always options in that regard. However, as a good segue into the next portion of our conversation, there is a certain allotment associated with this mission that would aid in this endeavor, I would say.
A budget?
To a degree. It always helps to grease some wheels and make contact with the right individuals, as it were, and pay the right respects. So, with that being said, she pulls out 3 little bags from a pouch at her hip. Tosses one in front of each one of you. Inside, you will find 50 gold pieces each for whatever accoutrement you may need or whatever lubricating of social wheels you may need. I will say there are certain organizations within the city of some note that might take offense to us operating in their home, shall it be said. And particularly, the Thieves Guild might take offense if they're not notified of a crew working an operation. Looked like Aaron said something there, but it didn't pick up.
He was just asking which guild because he didn't hear it.
Oh, Thieves Guild.
Yeah, she got me. Keep them in the unknown, or unknowing, for as long
If
as
you can
possible.
keep the Thieves Guild in the unknown, that's one way of going about it. However,
Or we could grease their palms with some gold pieces so that they aren't upset that we're operating in their territory.
that might be another way. Now, how you choose to go about this is entirely left to you. Now, that being said, there will be no love lost between our organization and the Thieves Guild if things don't go well with them.
So you're saying we can just wipe out the Thieves Guild?
Your smile get like really big for a second.
You're an ambitious
Well.
one, aren't you?
A little.
A little?
Lot less
There's a lot in that
competition,
little over there. Goodness me, oh my, Kerrigan.
There'd be a lot less competition.
Do you want to
in
light the
that regard.
dynamite when we're trying to play this distraction? My goodness.
Sure.
Alrighty. Plan of action. We're going to blow up the Thieves Guild and then get the ship.
That's one way to go about it. But I will say, go ahead and hang on. Let me double check this because someone might have a pacify note just to get it. Okay, Ember, you're actually high enough to one to catch it. Zolith, at mention of this, kind of stiffens a bit, just for like a fraction of a second. He's like, "Oh shit," kind of thing. But before anyone else at the table notices, kind of thing, or at least from his perspective, he just kind of changes position in his chair, type thing, and just kind of leans into it.
I'm not going to say anything at the moment, but I have definitely noted it to mention to my co-conspirators at a later date.
Fair enough. So, Maris at this point looks at you guys and goes, "Well," looks down, checks a little device on her wrist, and looks back up. "Well, at this point, we have less than 30 minutes remaining before we get to the city. Is there any further questions before we begin docking? I will
Where
be
will we
required
be
also."
staying?
That is entirely up to you. We did not want to hinder you in that regard if you wanted to stay closer to the location or further from the location, depending on how you wanted to go about things. Missions in that regard are kind of left up. As long as they're completed, this organization doesn't care. That's kind of the good thing about it. Failure for a mission, though, on the other hand, usually ends up bad. in that regard, depending on how critical that mission was to the overall organization. Failure is punished in that regard. Now,
Will we be paying
that's
for
once
that
you are a
lodging?
member.
Will we be paying for that lodging out of these purses that you've given us, or is that, or are you just gonna? Do
To
you
be
have?
fair, if you want to just get
do
a
you-
Hunter's Guild license and camp outside the city if you want, you can. If you want to stay in it in, you can.
Mhm.
It's entirely up to your discretion at this point.
Okay.
The funding you've been provided is all the funding you will be provided for this mission.
Okay.
Now, with that said, I do wish you all the best. Sincerely. Can't wait to fly my new ship. She kind of pushes her chair back and stands up. If there's nothing else,
Nothing from me.
I think we're good to go right now.
very well. We'll give you the room for some time so you may discuss amongst yourselves how you wish to at least start the endeavor once you arrive. Dallas will leave you alone as she kind of turns her head slowly to look at him and, like, starts to point towards the door. He's already getting up and moving. That way you may do this so privately. Certain precautions are taken in this room, and particularly to prevent any outside sources from overhearing, overseeing, or speaking when they shouldn't. So, with that said, I wish you all the best of luck, and can't wait to see how this turns out. And to give you a little polite bow and moves on her way out the door, kind of booting.
As
So-
soon as they're both at the door and the door is closed, I turn and look at the other two and I say, how dedicated are you to blowing up the Thieves Guild? Because that made Zalith really nervous.
I just thought it would be a quick means to an end, but, you know, I'm open for discussion.
I'm missing something here. Is there like bonus credits that we're like getting out from blowing up the Thieves Guild? Kerrigan, are you just you got some? You got a problem with that?
It just seemed like an easy route.
To like not deal with their opinion, or to like just why worry about people finding out about things if they're dead? Is that what we're running on here?
Yeah, pretty much.
So the distraction is going to be blowing up the Thieves Guild, and then we yoink the ship. Is that where we're at this point?
I mean, that
Two birds?
depending on other security measures, that would definitely cause a large enough distraction that the ship going missing should not be discovered for a bit.
And the lawkeepers might be like, well, they blew up the Thieves Guild. I guess we'll just let him go.
Okay, we're gonna bribe the police force of this city by blowing up the headquarters for their arch nemesis. Okay, this is okay.
If it works, it works.
Yes, just oh boy. Okay. I was thinking a museum or something of just enough note. No, we're gonna piss off the whole Thieves Guild for this town. Okay, cool.
Hey, who says they're gonna know it's us?
You have a point. Alrighty, then since we actually kind of get
men
to
don't investigate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank
That's
you.
the point they're at.
Thank you, voice from the ether. Motherfucking my ancestors, they speak to me. Okay. Where do we want to stay? Because we need to acquire enough explosives, know where the Thieves Guild is. Kerrigan, do you even know where the Thieves Guild is? Or at least where
I
they're...
think I have a good idea.
Okay, there's a starting point. I know where trees and woods and anyway. I can get us that campground, and maybe even better with that campground with some of my possible access to the Hunters Guild.
Well, Kerrigan, how suspicious would it be for us to actually be camping outside of the city versus and inside the city?
I've never camped outside the city myself, but I never really paid mind to anyone who did.
It's a neither here nor there. Kind of. What's in our purses, everyone? Like,
I
Let's-
have the 5.
let's drop that. Oh, what's in these purses? Like, what they give us to work with?
I have 5 more golds than what they gave us, so 55. Because they said 50 gold per bag.
Yeah.
So we cumulatively have 150 gold minus whatever or plus whatever we personally had before this.
I didn't have anything.
I just so managed to have 5 gold. Yeah.
Y'all level 1.
No, my
I will say
brain's
th-
going to how it's been acquired.
The one that strikes me as odd is, how did you have none?
Oh, I'm poor.
Did you like buy something or? Oh, I see why. Okay. Your kit came with extra items, that's why.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the purse gave us basically 50 gold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have 50
gold pieces.
Okay. Cool. There's that. Okay. But just 50 gold, that's all that was in the bag?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Alright, well, sounds like the ship needs to land, please. And we need to figure out if we're gonna see if there's either a campground or a nice location. Do we want to actually work near or far from our sites of target?
I think it would be better for us to be far away for our main base, and then we can have a few nights and an inn closer to as needed for whatever plans we decide to enact.
I like that.
If I can get us a campsite for free, I'll just give us a backup place to flee to should we need to abandon everything at any point, beginning, middle, or end of this heist. Alrighty. So, if anything, we might just actually have to hit the ground running once we land. I can get to the Hunters Guild, get ourselves a campsite for the next 2 months, and would you two be good to go get us an inn or two, just to at least shop around for what we've got?
Sure.
If we need to, yeah.
I think we need to. I think we need one. We might need several rooms, and one of them to hold a bunch of barrels of gunpowder or something.
FYI, above table, I'm very clearly a foreigner. Just putting that out there.
The accent shows.
Yeah. Alright, so
Yeah.
if you guys are
Time travel!
planning and stuff like that, you guys can exit the room and start to head back to wherever your cabins were at the time, or head up to the deck if you wanted to. But as you guys do exit, you do see Zala standing there. He goes, "Oh, took a little longer than I thought it would, but very well. Should see this." And he starts walking towards the main deck if you so choose to follow.
Yeah, why not?
So, for those of you who joined on the main deck,
All of us.
very well. He points over to the horizon a little bit, and you can start to see the city of Elistine coming into view. It is, at this distance, even impressive in size. You do see below you below the edge of the ship, like as you're looking over the edges and stuff like that around, there are a few small, quaint little villages and stuff like that along the main roadway that you guys are traveling above to head into Elistine. Massive stone wall surrounds the city itself. That is roughly in the ballpark of 375 feet high. There seems to be major like airship ports at the cardinal directions to the city. What's major notices at this distance? But as you guys do get closer, you do see more details. You do see some smaller like shanty villages built at the wall's exterior. Nothing too spectacular, like tent city type things, like near the gates and stuff like that. There's also several large statues positioned to either side of the ground gates, somewhere in the ballpark of 75 feet tall. Looks to be made of some kind of stone. Warriors kind of dressed in armor, like full plate, with big great swords that are plunged into the dirt. There are a few what looks to be riders in the air at the moment. From what you can tell at this distance, I would say it's probably like maybe 2 or 3 dragon riders in the air patrolling.
Are they actually riding dragons?
Quite literally riding dragons.
Okay, I just had to confirm.
No, you're good. That's a solid question to ask in this case. Aside from the upper tier, which you guys can kind of see as you're coming into land, coming down at like an angle, the upper tier is just beautifully manicured, noble estates, castles, almost an aesthetic, and a much larger centralized castle that also extends out the primary transportation method of the city, which is an elevator system that runs from the top of that tower all the way to the bottom. Here. At this point, Zareth kind of steps forward and goes, "Never gets old seeing this stuff." And he kind of points to a section of the city. "We'll be landing over there." Draws less attention when we arrive through the southern gate. But the port will have to do. Any last minute questions? He kind of gives that same smirk you guys have been seeing the whole time you've interacted with him.
No,
So,
I'm between clenching and I'm a mirage of features because it is beautiful, and also I'm very airsick, as it were.
yeah.
I don't like that smirk. Can I insight check?
Yeah, go for it.
Damn.
What you got? There's buttons. There it is. Wow. That was not high. Alright, Ember got off an insight. With yours, he just seems genuinely happy to get to the city. You know what I mean? He's really looking forward to it. Ember, from your side of things, with the information you have previously, the closer you get to that city, the more relaxed he seems to be becoming.
Okay.
Almost, that smirk is almost that the cat to date the canary type scenario.
I know we're back in my playground now, and I've got my protection here, kind of thing.
Kinda, yeah. So, moving right along from there. Alright, so docking procedures as per normal go off without a hitch. You guys are able to dock without issue. standard accoutrement of individuals loading and unloading cargo. Especially here in Elistine at the upper tier docks, it is a lot of automatons in that regard.
Are the south docks the upper tier docks?
It's there's 3 tiers. You have the south gate, which is the bottom, that connects right to the lowest floor, essentially, of Elistine. You then have the merchant side, which is where you guys are currently docking. This is merchants, trading cargo, passenger ships, all that kind of stuff comes to this tier's docks. The south docks, in particular, just the ones that typically are used by more reputable organizations, things of that nature. So naturally, certain organizations that appear reputable for the most part, as like mercenary groups and things of that nature, typically dock here as well. Outside of that, it's the upper tier is a lot more heavy machinery. It's got a lot more, automatons running about here and there. It's larger cargo liners and stuff like that. But even the cargo liners that are coming up there versus the middle docks are more extravagant. They're more ornate. That's the money motherfuckers that have businesses, like the nobility who happen to be merchants or that kind of thing. Those appear to be more something of a private docking. That's something you know as a far traveler. You would have seen that kind of stuff in other places. Kerrigan, I believe you're from here, so this is all familiar to you, as it were. The tiered structure of the city is not unknown to you, as far as that goes. But everything seems normal as you guys are docking. Papers and everything like that were in order. Nothing seems amiss. You guys are free to leave the ship at this point if you so choose and start progression through the city. Unless there's anything left on the boat you'd like to do. No? No. Nope. Okay, cool. So, moving right along. You guys get into the main city. Give me perception checks active, because I'm assuming at this point you guys would be checking things out as you went. That sound about right?
Yeah.
See what y'all got here.
Apparently really shit perception right now.
Yeah.
Haha, I have eyes.
Given the low nature of some of these rolls so far, I will remind each of you that you do have a singular reroll for the evening, just so you know you have that in your pocket. Rasben, on the other hand, you do catch sight of something that stands out a little bit to you, in particular, actually, as you do see a group of 6 kobolds, that looks like, kind of being a little nosier than they should be for the most part. About people coming and going and things of that nature.
I noticed 6 SIX kobolds.
Yep.
Okay. And what else about them? Sorry.
They seem to be taking a vested interest in all the ships that are coming and going, all the people that are coming and going, more so than anyone else. Do with that what you will.
I'm gonna go talk to him.
Okay. So, the 2 other party members at this point see the rather large Minotaur kind of just turn and angle off towards a small group of kobolds.
Above table, I can feel the tension.
Should we follow him? I say to Grim.
Sure.
Alright, so as you guys
And
get
then we're gonna
closer...
follow after.
Okay. So you guys fall in with, the Minotaur and start moving over towards that group of kobolds. Kerrigan, give me a history check. Rasben, actually. Let me double check something on you. I think you might get one too. Yeah, go ahead and give me a same thing history check for you as well.
Bop.
All right. So in the reverse situation this time around, Rasben, they look like greedy, greasy kobolds. Kerrigan, you happen to notice that on their back shoulder is markings. Uh, Faint, but you definitely catch the symbols of them. They actually belong to an organization that you're familiar with.
Which one?
I am pulling it up now. So, they actually are part of the Red Dawn. For you, the Red Dawn is one of the major gang organizations within the city, slums and stuff like that. But every once in a while, they have been known to send scouts up to the upper tiers to see if there's anything worth snagging or taking or robbing as needed, or threatening if need be. There's not much that gang won't really do, up to and including cannibalism if need be.
Oh,
Yeah, they're pretty rough. But generally speaking, they're not one of the ones you'd normally want to mess with too much. However, this is the first time you've ever seen that mark on kobolds.
are they typically racist?
ever.
The Red Dawn.
A bit. They tend to have leanings more towards humans and half-elves, for the most part. There are a few dwarves that have been pressed into service, but more for artificers and things of that nature. More for equipment side of things or maintaining skyboards and that type of stuff. But kobolds, no, that would not happen. At least not when you were here previously.
How close are we to the?
I'd say at this point you're about 45 feet from them.
Mhm.
Like
I'm gonna
distance-wise.
I'm gonna stop my companions. Hey, whoa!
What?
Those kobolds are Red Dawn. We probably shouldn't mess with them unless we really need to. Undercity gang, terrible people.
Do you believe they could be useful to us?
I don't know. I didn't even know they employed kobolds, to be honest.
Do you think they'd be more trouble than they're worth?
I'm just saying, tread lightly. We could talk to them.
But if they are a gang and we do involve them in anything, they'd probably want a cut.
True. Did you mute yourself or not there? Oh, okay. I didn't know if she... Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Alright, we're new here. Alrighty. I revert from walking in their direction. Do they notice us by any chance?
About to find out. Give me perception checks. Whole crew, since you're all kind of actively participating. Okay. Man, that RNG roller does not like two of y'all tonight. Ow. Okay.
Jazz hands.
I mean, thankfully, one of y'all succeeded in every interaction so far in that regard. Rasben, for you, you do notice they definitely took note. As you guys start to make your way away from the docks and stuff like that, you kind of give yourself that over-the-shoulder look every once in a while. They are following.
God damn it, we're gonna have to kill some kobolds.
Was that above table or in character?
No, that was totally in character.
You seem confident that we can take them. Is there a little...
They're kobolds.
That doesn't mean anything to me, my new friend.
Above table, how populous are kobolds? Like, would I have run across them before? No. Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm also of the impression that my character has not really ever seen them.
Oh, no, you would have.
Would have in the travels and everything? Yeah. Okay.
Well, the tribals use them as laborers.
Okay. This is where my
this
is where my knowledge on Minotaur culture might be a little limited.
Yeah, especially with your tribe and stuff like that. They're used as laborers. They're fed like scraps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they do haul around carts and stuff quite well in teams. And yeah, I mean, as far as moving stuff from one location to the other, as long as it's not food, it should be fine.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're good for in that, as far as your group would be concerned.
Okay. It's just the three of us. Do we not have an escort with us or a convoy of any help, or is it just the three of us leave the ship?
Just the three of y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the three of y'all for the moment.
All right, back in table then. So, how many are there? You said six?
I believe there were 6.
There's 6 of them. Okay. Okay. Noticed. All right. Cool. Well, if you think we're going to have to kill some kobolds, how ready are you guys for a fight? Do we need it?
Got my daggers on me.
That's good. Kerrigan, do you know a little spot where we could have some quiet time with them?
Not up here. I'm from down below.
Actually, make a history check. There's a few locations in particular up here that you might be able to remember. Like, you would have done it all the time, but 1 or 2 spots where you've jumped a merchant for some coin or something of that nature. Let's see here.
It was a 10.
You throwing a history check?
It was
I
a
already
10
did.
that he threw.
Thank you, D&D Beyond. Refresh. Game log.
Yep.
There it goes. Okay, yeah. Actually, you do. About 4 or 5 streets up, there's an alleyway that runs actually almost circular all the way to the Eastern Gate area, or the main road that goes to the Eastern Gate. But about every... how would I say this? Like, almost every half of a pizza slice type thing of a circular city would be a little chamber area that has, like, well draw-ups from lower levels, that type of stuff, or water fountains and stuff for water distribution and things of that nature. And honestly, most of midday like this, no one's going to be there. And it's a good place if you need to make someone quiet. Yeah, they can't argue if their mouth's full of water. So, you know of a couple spots nearby.
Yeah. Forget what I just said. I know of a couple spots nearby.
Okay, good. I think it might be best either we do this not at all and quietly make our escape from their attention, or they don't get to see tomorrow. Those are the two options.
You may not get a choice.
Alrighty. Just want to frame it out.
Well, I can try something if we're ahead of them. Are we still a decent amount away from them?
Yeah, you got about, I want to say, like, somewhere between 25 to 30 feet distance just in this, like, pathways as you're walking between you and them. You can kind of see them kind of trying to be stealthy, but it's very hard when 6 kobolds stack up on one barrel. So
how populated is the
they're
scene?
trying to hide and be sneaky a little bit, but they're
well, how populated
failing miserably.
How populated is the scene? Like, is there a lot of people in the area? It's
enough of think of a main, like, bazaar square or stuff like that. There's plenty of people out and about doing their own business and stuff like that. Are they really paying attention that much? Probably not. They got their own crap they're worrying about.
Right. Yeah. Well,
And once you get to those alleyways, they're not populated.
No. You've passed a couple, like, smaller ones and stuff like that along the route already.
Mm-hmm.
You might see, like, 1 or 2 people off to the side talking at the entrance to 1 or 2 of them, but other than that, not really a whole lot in the main little alleyways. It's a shortcut home type thing, or
right. Well,
So if you think you have something that could you could try, go for it. Otherwise, I say let's be prepared to fight if we need to.
So when you hear a loud noise, just try and hide.
Okay.
I'll do my best. I am currently looking for like a large hat shop, basically, or something.
A large hat shop. There is a haberdasher up the way a little bit.
Great, I'm gonna steal
Alright,
his
well-
tarp.
I'd like to cast minor illusion
Mhm.
and cause a loud sound, explosion, something to happen off away from us,
Okay.
just to
Give me
make
this.
everyone look in that direction.
Give me a deception roll. See how good this is.
19.
Apparently pretty damn good. Jesus. All right. So yeah, you're sitting there. You're waiting for that moment, and as they start to move to like their next little bit of cover, because they're super stealthy and all that. Because I rolled a 2.
They're just Gears of Warring this chase right now. Just
Yep. As loud as they could be, pushing over a small child here, there, type thing.
gosh.
But all of a sudden, there's this loud bang, and almost in succession, like all 6 heads just turn and look in that direction. What do you guys do?
No, I'm hiding.
All right, go ahead and make stealth checks. Each of you.
As well.
I'm diving for that haberdashery to hide and or also try to like nab something to cover my horns, like to
Nice.
fill up that space.
That's kind of
Okay. So, based on the rules there, Kerrigan, you slink off almost right the next alleyway, and you think you're good at this point. Ember, you kind of blended into the group right near that alleyway. You've stepped into the minute, Aaron, you stepped off into the haberdasher shop and everything like that. And the kobolds start walking forward again, and as they kind of like dismiss the sound as something else and start looking. At this point, Kerrigan, they look directly at you, and then look away and keep looking like they're looking for someone else. I got a 1 on that perception. She's like, no, that's not them. Where'd they go? There were 3. And just kind of meander off into the crowd looking for 3 people that are similar to the 3 of you standing together.
I'm prepared for my character to come out of this haberdashery wearing like a bonnet, just sun hat with
I
like
mean-
silk just to like hold it down.
How much money are you looking to spend?
I'm not actually. That's
Okay, so in that vein, if you're trying to just snag a quick hat and roll out, give me a sleight of hand check to see if you can snag something without the
I got-
shopkeeper noticing.
I got a 10.
So you snag this, almost like the sombrero with the little balls hanging off of it,
Right.
and you put it on your head and you go to walk out the shop and you just feel this very strong hand reach out and grab you.
Perception check 18. Hi, and I was like, oh, he noticed. Okay, we're just gonna put that back.
Yeah, he looks, he goes, 2 coppers. And just holds out his hand.
No, thank you.
Come back anytime. It'll still be here for 2 coppers.
Have a good day, sir.
You as well.
I check the street to verify the kobolds are like long gone.
There, at this point, as you've had this interaction, I would say, like, Ember, Kerrigan, I'm assuming you all are kind of meeting back up type thing.
Yeah, I have to figure out where the fuck these 2 fuckers went. I'm aware my character basically is trying to find 2 incredibly hard to find people. I was like, great. I'm just gonna stand out and just be a monolith. Like I am the flare.
As I see him walk out that street, I'm going to sneak behind him and poke him in the middle of the back.
Son of a bitch. Okay.
Fair.
One of you is playful. Great.
Kerrigan, what are you doing?
I'm just walking back over there.
Right. I would say you've been able to keep a kind of eye on them. They're a good distance at this point because they think you guys took off running. So now they're all running. They're about 75, 80 feet ahead and don't appear to be looking back at all. Like they're moving because they think y'all got away from.
It's a good thing kobolds are stupid.
They really are. That fucking like -3 on the intelligence check is hurting me right now. So, all right. Well, they've made their way off. Congrats on your first successful dodge.
Hey.
At this point in time, I know Rasben was headed to the Hunters Guild to check out there and try to get a campsite thing set up.
Yeah, we start planning out to. Yeah.
And then 2 of you were to go check out inns. And particularly, I'm going to ask, because there are 3 layers, which layer are you looking at for the inns?
Which layer is the ship stored on?
Currently on the 2nd tier. Middle tier.
Are
Right.
you talking? Wait, are you asking about where the ship we're stealing is, or?
Oh, okay. So the
Yeah.
ship you're stealing, you don't know yet. You haven't located it.
Oh, we have to find it.
How well advertised is it, considering this is promoted to bring in tourism?
This is
you
where
guys
passenger
are,
ships land, is not?
yeah. Where you guys are, there would be probably a few references to it. I would say. Well, actually, no. In this regard, Kerrigan, go ahead and give me just a straight intelligence check. I think. Let me take a look. Actually, make an investigation check.
Ah. Natural 20.
All
Bop.
right. So, funnily enough, you do catch one of the adverts as it's rolling through one of the crystalline displays and stuff like that. Of come see the Crystal Maiden, the fabled ship that has won 75 races. Will it win this year? Only time will tell. We see the Crystal Maiden at the local looted noble house. Yeah, I mean, so it is at the local noble Luden's main housing estate. So that means it's on the upper tier.
Well, it's where all the bigwigs live. We're not going to get an inn up there for 50 gold.
No, but sometimes I've intrigued nobles enough that they invite me to stay with them. I don't know how well that would work with this ragtag group of people. I say, glancing specifically at the Minotaur.
Well, actually, on that note, give me a general intelligence check. Yeah, roll intelligence. Okay. Based on your
I
experience,
thought it
and
was the 1. It's not nearly as
Whatever.
bad as I expected.
DC on this was just a 5. So, because you do have some experience dealing with nobility and things of that regard, it is not uncommon for like foreign nobles that are visiting or foreign merchants that are visiting to have someone like Rasben being bodyguard.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in that regard, Rasben actually would stand out less and aid in your cover story more.
Okay. Thank
Um,
God it was only a 5 to know that.
yeah. And then on top of that, actually, having someone to
A local to the
Be-
city, so to speak.
yeah, like a local guide or hiring a guide for the city or someone who knows more like the local laws and the local hangouts and things of that nature would also be common. So technically Kerrigan and Rasben would fit the bill for that type of approach if you wanted to try.
I definitely want to try, because if we can stay on the upper level, I feel like that would be pretty helpful in terms of discerning security.
Okay, so I do have to ask, what kind of nobility are you trying to portray yourself as? There's
Can
a
you
couple types.
define that question a little bit more for me?
Well, if you're a foreign noble, you'd have to be from somewhere in there. Given your background and things of that nature, you do have something you could pull from,
Right?
but there's some caveats to that in that regard. But in general, it would depend on what kind of stuff you're trying to pull off, so it'll aid me in kind of determining what skill checks to apply. So if you are portraying yourself off as an elven noble or a dwarven noble or whatever nobility you're trying to portray yourself as, it helps me determine which roles to make,
Okay.
or
I'd
if
be more
there's even a contested
likely,
role.
right. I'd be more likely to portray myself as an elven noble in this case.
Okay.
Um, just because I wouldn't have to shift my features very much for that.
Okay.
So go ahead and point my ears.
All right. And in that vein of things, I mean, aside from your clothing, you know what I mean, good bath and the right clothing on you, you could definitely pull it off pretty easily. Everything would
And-
still fit otherwise.
Okay. Thank God I got a +7 on deception.
Yeah. So I was looking at that. I was like, yeah, you could do it. The elven nobility and stuff in that regard. Actually, how much of this plan or this so far are you sharing with the group? Let me ask that.
I was literally just about to discuss with the rest of the party, saying what I did in terms of, you
Okay.
know.
Go ahead and do that. Kerrigan,
Okay.
be ready with a history check in a minute.
Okay. I have traveled a bit, and occasionally, I have been able to win favor with the nobles through my methods, and have been able to acquire stay within their properties. And what with having bodyguards and you, Rasben, and a local with you, Kerrigan, that very much meets the typical situation that I've experienced prior, to be able to ease a stay with a noble.
If you think you can get us in, I am so down.
I think I could get us in. I just need to find a bathhouse and a good place to purchase some better clothing than this common attire, of course.
I'm just making that.
Well, there's a whole shopping district.
So, Kerrigan, your history check. Yeah. Okay. One of the things about the city you would know is that there is a few libraries, particularly one on the upper tier, the top tier, the noble district. The middle tier has two, and the lower tier has one. Most of the ones on the lower tier, like learning how to read, fighting illiteracy, that type of stuff, not really like anything major. But the middle tier would have information about like nobility, how to identify nobility, merchant craft, and stuff of that nature. There would be a lot of resources there that you could use to flush out details, so there's not as many gaps as far as like knowledge or information that maybe you would be able to impart or that type of stuff. You would know that in the few times that your grouping here in the city that you were working with had tried to impersonate and get into nobility, failed miserably, not because of attire or even demeanor or grouping. It was more so because they didn't know the right thing.
So my suggestion is, if we're gonna fool some nobles, we need to visit the local library. Do some research.
I am perfectly down with that. After I bathe and change my attire.
I mean,
Cool.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but you do smell a little bit.
I can tell you to that. Kerrigan, you do know a certain individual who you're not so fond of that happens to own a set of shift weave here in the city.
How not fond of?
I mean, if he slipped and fell on your knife, you might have a good giggle. Kind of.
I know someone we might be able to get some clothes from. He owes me.
Hey, if I don't have to spend gold, I'm down with it.
Hey, big guy, are you okay with murder?
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't think my character was actually in this scene.
Oh, did we
You're
separate
standing
already?
there.
I am.
You're standing here.
Son
You're
of a
like
bitch.
right outside the haberdasher still.
Oh wait, we were still discussing. I thought we'd actually separated
Yeah.
to go off to our two different lodging situations.
No, I had asked and that was brought up, so I was filled in, and then now we're still going.
So we were going over her getting a different outfit set up or whatnot. We're still out in the okay. Jesus, I tuned the fuck out. I thought we'd gone our separate ways. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. Eventually, it's gonna come to me to do with the Hunters Guild to get a campsite. Okay, now I'm okay if y'all want to get some new clothes via some, very clever murder of unimportant people. Just don't make it too loud. That's
Okay.
So I guess we're gonna follow Kerrigan off to wherever this individual is.
Well, you still have different avenues of approach here. As Aaron was saying, checking in with the Hunters Guild still not a bad approach because getting hunters licensing and stuff like that is the only way to get in and out of the ground gates.
that's literally where I thought I was going.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, you were kind of headed that way and meeting up later. I would assume y'all would have had a meetup location scheduled at some point. Like meet back at the Central Spire in the middle tier.
Meet
You know
at
what I
the,
mean?
meet
It's
at,
an easily identifiable thing.
meet at the haberdashery.
I mean, that works too.
Do we?
Um,
Is there a good meetup place in town here, Kerrigan, that we could actually? Chris had mentioned like Central Spire or whatnot, right?
the Central Spire is always a
assume
good
that's
one.
going to be the most standout point of the whole city.
Yeah, it definitely is visible for pretty much everywhere.
Cool.
However, there is a location you do know of that tends to be pretty good on service, cheap booze, good food, called the Crystal Heart, actually, and it's on the middle tier as well, near the Central Spire.
There's an old bar I used to go to. We could meet there. It's called the Crystal Heart, near the Central Spire. Can't miss it.
Okay, we'll do that.
Above table, Aaron, it was 2 coppers for the hat, not 8.
Anyway,
Was 2 coppers. But, so yeah, that way you guys can separate and kind of do your thing. Ember, I take it you're headed with Kerrigan to back up Kerrigan for this endeavor.
Absolutely.
Rasben, you're headed off to the Hunters Guild to acquire licenses and potentially set up possibility of a campsite outside the city. Correct?
yeah, go to the Hunters Guild, see if there's any friends to be made, and secure the licensure to have a campground.
All right. So we'll do it in this way. I'm going to knock out Aaron with the Hunters Guild quick because it's the shorter of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time that's done, we'll go ahead and take our first break.
Okay.
And that way everybody has a chance to grab drinks, whatever else you need to do. And then we'll pick up afterwards with Kerrigan and Ember on their way to visit Kerrigan's friend.
Cool.
They're frenemy.
Right. Outside of that, so Rasben, the Hunters Guild in the city and stuff like that, you had heard mention of it previously
Mm-hmm.
as being on the lowest floor near the gate. And particularly, this Hunters Guild in Elistine is located near the western gate. It does have smaller, almost like kiosks set up at each of the other gates, but the actual main building where you'd have to register to get your licensing and stuff like that is at the western gate. For you, that's about a 20 to 45 minute walk, depending on which way you go. If you're sticking to the main thoroughfares, it's quick 45-minute walk, but typically not much happens on those main thoroughfares.
Mm-hmm.
The shorter route takes you through the alleyways and stuff to close distance quicker, but there's risk.
Right.
So, which route would you like to take?
We're gonna minimize bullshit and just take the main
Alright.
thoroughfares.
All right. A decent walk, and let me throw that percentage dice real quick. So you're making your way down the main thoroughfare up to the central spire. You get on the elevator, and it rides down to the bottom floor. As the elevator doors open, you see 6 familiar faces. As you see the 6 kobolds from earlier.
Do they recognize me?
Let's find out. Not a chance in hell. Ladies and gentlemen, they just look directly at the giant minotaur. Nah, that's not him. Literally saying it out loud, and then turn back and keep looking around.
I maintain myself and proceed through my proper exit.
These kobolds are gonna be lost in that city forever, just looking for 3 people they don't even remember what they look like anymore.
That -3, huh?
God.
They need to reoccur throughout this story.
Yes!
Random
is-
locations.
Advice from one storyteller to another.
I feel like they're unfortunately
Yeah.
gonna die once the other group gets involved. Like,
Entirely possible, just saying.
I mean, if Frank's rats have anything to say about it, it's very possible.
Yep. Oh God. So you make your way to the Hunters Guild without issue. Walking in, it's very much what you'd expect to see of a stereotypical adventurer's guild. You know what I mean? Rowdy group of people drinking, shouting, singing, slapping one person here, shove another fight over there type thing.
good game.
And then there's this like prim and proper dressed person behind the counter who's very stoic in her appearance, but seems to be maintaining a very clean and nice bar as well as main counter space. You approach, she acknowledges you and kind of gives you a slight, courteous bow and is welcome to the Hunters Guild of Elistine. How may I help you this evening?
Good evening, ma'am. I am looking to acquire a registry and as well as a campsite of a sort to take over for the next 2 to 3 months, if possible. I'm told that I can manage those here, I believe.
Well, campsites, once beyond the walls, are pretty much free to establish as you see fit, as evident by the tent cities outside the main gates a bit. As far as leaving through the gates and stuff like that, that does require registry with the Hunters Guild and an active Hunter's license. If you're interested in joining the guild, we do have members who are able to oversee the test procedure for joining the Hunters Guild. Is it just you?
Just
Typically, individuals be joining group.
currently just me. It's
Very well.
just me in town at the time.
Very well. Not uncommon. My name is Julia. I am the proprietor of the Hunters Guild, as you would say. Registration fees are 10 gold pieces, at which point in time you will be administering a test hunt. See if you are at least up to the minimum standards of the Hunters Guild as far as capabilities, so that we do not send individuals out beyond the walls to die.
Seems fair. Which
It looks
would
bad
be...
on the guild.
Yes, of course. What might the hunt be for?
Well, that depends on the instructor, as it were. Some of them hunt, through the sewers here in the city to help pest control and vermin management. Others take you beyond the walls, and if you don't survive, come back with all your stuff. It depends on the circumstance. In that regard, it's not to say that the hunter assaults the individuals. It's just more of the beasts beyond the walls are a bit more unpredictable.
Sounds like outside these walls and those campsites out there are dealing with troublesome beasts all the time.
Well, the closer to the walls you are, the less likely it is, but there have been occasions where some of the larger beasts do approach the walls. Most cases in that the dragon riders normally intervene before they get too close to the city, but accidents happen.
Fair enough. Okay. Do I get to pick my hunter licensure tester, or will you be...
Typically, if there's a multiple available, yes, you will be able to select the individual, but currently, as our great number of our hunters are currently engaged, we do have 2 currently here. One of which is not available because they're indisposed, we'll say. And the other, well, yes, there's one available.
What can I read off of her with that kind of nonsense?
Give me an insight check.
Insight. It was almost really, really good. Let's say 15, by the way.
Alright. Sadly, I only have one monitor here, so... But, yeah, with the 15, it's not... It's more of a... stagnation type of thing, whereas most hunters try to advance their rate, to try to take on bigger hunts, better hunts, make more money, this type of thing. It's a frustration in the factor that this individual has no ambition in that regard.
Okay.
It's more of a frustration of hopefully this actually gets done today type thing.
Right. Okay. Fair enough, then. Wonderful. Well, then, how quickly can we start this test?
She nods. Well, of course, it's a matter of the dues. At which point she kind of slides a little tray across to you. 10 gold. Steep, but...
And what is the price?
10 gold pieces.
Is that gold pieces for life, or is this a...
Yearly.
Yearly? Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I have my plans together. Alrighty. Pays the 10 GP.
Takes the tray back off the counter. Dumps the, behind the counter into a something. With a clinking sound. And then she goes, very well. Alistair? Alice... He reaches down, picks up what looks to be like a small tin cup and just heaves it across the room. Pings a dude right in the back of the head. What? Get over here and do your job. Very pleasant when she's talking to you. Very terse in this instance. He walks over, and the only way I can think of to describe this is a shambling mound of failure. Looks to be dressed like some kind of wizard with holes in their robes. Hat is supposed to be like a conical hat, but is missing the top half of it. And I don't mean it's flat. I mean it's literally been chewed off. Yeah.
I kind of, as he's coming over and I'm identifying all of this, I just ask her, is he the outside the walls guy or the sewers guy?
He does particularly like to go outside the wall.
Fuck.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
If you don't mind waiting a few days, or possibly even a week, we will have hunters who are qualified to instruct return. That is up to you. It is dependent upon how urgent you would like. He just standing there looking.
oh, I'm sitting there really considering this right now. I'm considering all of this right now. When did you say that the other hunters will be back? Few days?
Hoping before the end of the week.
End of the week.
Currently, like Tuesday.
And the test only takes, what, a day? Or however long the hunt takes?
It depends on how long the hunt takes. I couldn't.
What's the longest you've ever had?
3 weeks.
3 weeks for one hunt, and the average?
Usually within a day or two.
Okay. I'm confident this could be easily managed.
Shortest has been 2 hours.
Well then, that would be very nice, actually. Is that hunter available? Is that hunter going to be available when upon returning of a few of them?
No, he was sent on special assignment by request. He is not even in the city or technically in the kingdom at the moment.
Then I shall return either on the morrow or the following to see if any other hunters have arrived. I would like to have my chances as best as possible before, or even just having an inside the walls assignment. I have spent much of my life outside and would be fascinated with some, albeit gross, but it just might be interesting enough to hunt things in a city as opposed to the forest where I have done most of my experience.
Very well. Is there a place you're currently residing, or is there a way that I should contact you if an individual arrives back earlier?
No, I don't have an easy means just yet. I am still searching for lodging in the town. The campsite was just going to be for hunting, for need or for market. Should I need to find myself some more coin. Do you have any areas here in the lower region that you could recommend that would be suitable for the night?
Well, that would very much depend on circumstance. Once you're a full member of the guild, we do offer lodging to all hunters, free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
We do ask that you clean your own rooms in that situation, as well as provide your own food, unless you choose to purchase meals here in the evening.
Naturally. No.
Fair exchange.
I'm just looking for
of that,
simple wood lodging. I've lived out in the forest. If you have anything that's not going to have me crawling with rats, I would be perfectly happy for that. Just a suggestion would be great.
Elistein's not the city it once used to be. I will say in that regard, the middle tier might be your safer endeavor in that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a few places. Give me a moment, and she kind of goes over to like this little tome they keep over by the side, and starts looking through it for a minute. And
is this called first tier or third
over
tier?
some stuff.
Bottom tier.
This is the first tier. It's the bottom.
Yeah.
Third tier's the top. Oh, seems to be one that has some friendly ties with the guild. It's called the Skinned Shark Inn.
Skinned Shark Inn?
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
An individual by the name of Garland owns it. It's a tavern in combination, I believe. And from what I've led to understand, she kind of skims through a little bit more in the book. He should have some openings, and well, the rooms are okay.
Wonderful. Thank you for the information. I shall see you tomorrow, if not the following day.
Very well, sir. I do hope you have a pleasant stay here in Alistine.
I'm sure I will.
He gives you a little courteous nod again. At which point you kind of turn to leave, and you just see Alistair still standing there, like, maybe 6 feet from you, with the most indignant "fuck you" face that he could possibly have. Like, really, whelp? Like, really, he's human, so
I do look at him and go,
5'5", 5'6".
I do look at him and just, first impressions, my friend. And I just leave. I'm
Okay.
good. Yeah, I'm good to head back or anything.
All right, awesome.
Above
Great job.
tabletop. You dumbass. You forgot to ask what level that inn is on.
It's in the third tier.
No,
it's not.
she was recommending you to the middle tier.
She-
Yeah, that's on the middle tier. No, she did say middle tier would be safer, and in that one we do have a friendly friendly inn. Okay, so we just finished off with you at the Hunters Guild. Rasben electing to.
Will you be turning your camera back on?
Oh, right.
I want to see your pretty face.
That is the farthest thing from the truth right there. This is not pretty. This is mangled mess, more so. But no, so you got finished with your stuff. Electing to wait for a more not the walking epitome of failure for a hunter to show up and take you on your test to join the Hunters Guild. Random with no context. Is that what we're going with?
Yep. Full no context in the chat.
Meanwhile, as Rasben has been trying to join up with the Hunters Guild, Kerrigan and Ember have been traversing the city, making their way to the last known haunts of Kerrigan's friends, as it were. In that regard, I have to ask, how are you approaching the situation? That will determine things.
I just really want to know if this guy knows anything.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
And I'm going to fill Ember in on the cliff notes on our way there.
All right. Let me make sure I have this.
Waiting for cliff notes from DM.
Well, in that vein, if you want to fill her in on what you're, as a character, willing to spill,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So the guy we're going to see, he was an informant for a group that I used to be a part of. I have a bone to pick with this group. They screwed me real bad. So we're going to pay him a visit. It might not end well for him. Just so you know what's coming.
What level of screwed are we talking about?
They took my child.
Then they deserve everything that they have coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you guys are conversing and making your way to the lower tier of the city, making your way over to what is referred to as the Dusk Row. It is a section of alleyways that has turned into kind of urchin haven. So there's a lot of children, things of that nature, as well as a few adults in the area. Shabbier clothing and stuff like that for the most part. But you take some twists and turns, Kerrigan, you're familiar enough with this area that you're not getting turned around at all. Before you get, I would say probably about 100 feet from his door. Or where you last knew he was. Okay. At this point in time, are you approaching with stealth? Kicking in the door? What's the
I would
modus
like
operandi?
to look like somebody else. Anybody
Okay.
else. Doesn't matter. Just not you.
Nothing specifics, just any race, anything?
I'm just a human.
Okay. So human, male, female, anything in particular? Or
Female.
okay. So a human, female, and Ember. Current state of you?
So I'm going to morph my features so that I stand out a little less.
Okay.
I'm going to, I assume urchin, dark hair. Most people in the,
Yeah,
you
a
know,
little grubbier, a little darker.
yeah. So I'm gonna leave the freckles, but I'm gonna make my hair brown,
Okay.
and that's the only thing I'm
So
gonna change right now.
with that, go ahead for both of you, just for point of reference. Give me a stealth check. Okay. So you guys were able to approach the little back alleyway that the door attaches to relatively easy. No one really pays much attention to you. You are blending in, actually, like most of the rest of the people in the area. Everybody kind of keeps themselves. Anytime someone new kind of walks by or anyone walks by, you see hands instinctively reach to the coin purse type thing to make sure it's still there. Especially when you're within arm's distance of these individuals in these smaller alleyways. You make your way up towards the door. No windows or anything like that, which kind of makes sense given who this person is. Knocking the door, kicking the door, checking the door. What are you doing?
I would like to knock.
Okay. So you knock. Nothing kind of sounds for a second. And finally you hear some like click, 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 click. Not quite sure if it was 3 or 4 locks. And the door cracks just a hair. What do you want? Can't see anybody. It's dark inside.
I was told you have a certain type of material that we need. I'd like to discuss payment purchase.
Who sent you?
Oh, I'm a friend of... Hold on. Old friend of the Undercity Vipers.
They pay well enough. All right. See the guy kind of step back. I would say he's with the light coming in from where you guys are, because it's like 2:00 in the afternoon by this point, roughly, like with travel and everything like that. Sandy blonde hair, gruff, like facial features. Looks a lot older than he probably actually is. Unkempt beard, kind of frazzled and frayed. Attire actually looks halfway decent. Looks like it was like recently purchased or new. Come on in quickly.
I go in.
All right.
I follow.
He shuts the door and you hear click, 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 click as he's locking things back into position. So, material, huh? Who am I robbing?
Out of character. What was the name of the stuff you said he had?
Shift weave.
Shift weave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it already tailored or is it just a material?
Well, it's technically considered a common magic item. You'd be familiar with this stuff from some of the inner workings of different organizations. Shift weave is an attire that can store up to 5 appearances and can change with them at a command. Normally it's a magic item, cost of 150 gold roughly to purchase. And particularly, he owns one.
So, word on the street is that you've got yourself some shift weave.
You could say that. Are you looking to acquire one, or?
Yeah, we could use it.
I mean, I could acquire one. It's not going to be cheap, but
How about we just borrow the one you have?
make an intimidation check. At that point.
Oh, yeah. 21.
Ooh, okay. So he kind of looks at you, looks at the person you're with, and like, kind of nervously looks around the room a little bit. He's like, well, I don't know. And he kind of like starts to walk back towards his desk a little bit.
Stop moving.
He stops where he's at the edge of the desk and just kind of turns around, sits on it, puts his hands up. He's like, no harm. You want to borrow mine?
Well, I was just trying to be polite. Either we can work this out, or you can make sure that, or I will make sure I walk out of here with it, regardless.
Wow. Kind of a brazen person, aren't you? We just met. I think my friend might take exception. He kind of turns. You realize the partition right in the main hallway that comes through the door. You see now a guy around the corner with a heavy crossbow in his hands and look at you too. So, finding it a hard thought process of finding on reasons to tell him not to shoot you where you stand at this point. If you're looking to do business, we can do business. I can acquire one, or if you're looking to purchase mine, I might be willing to sell it for the right price tag, but
How much?
175 gold. He
That's
looks confident, but give me an insight check, actually, actively, since you're engaging. He seems pretty sure, Kerrigan, as far as you're concerned, looking at him and stuff like that. Definitely thinks he's going to come out of this okay. So let me... Yeah, same thing for you, Ember. He definitely thinks he's going to make it out of this situation okay. However, I will point out, it's him and one guy in a room with you two. That's it.
so. If I attack, do I get a surprise?
If you flash engagement right now, yeah. He's confident and sure, cocky as far as you can see. Everything's
I was
fine.
actually going to kind of ask the same thing.
I mean, you will get a surprise round if you jump now.
Okay. I'm gonna glance at Kerrigan, see that we both have the same idea, and I'm gonna immediately pull out both daggers and go for the one that's nearest me. I assume it's the one with the crossbow.
All right. So before we get to that part real quick, I will give you your surprise round still, but I need to roll initiatives.
Okay.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm slow moving.
Don't worry, we have a 3-way tie, so technically Ember goes first. Once we get into initiative order. But for now, you two actually have a full action, movement, and bonus action at your disposal. Whoever would like to go first.
I don't care.
Okay, I will go first.
Okay.
I'm going to Eldritch Blast the dude with the crossbow.
Ooh, okay. Go ahead and make the attack roll.
25.
Holy crap. Yeah, you hit.
Let's go!
7 damage.
Okay. 7 damage. Done. Alright. You do have your movement and your bonus action.
What's... Can I cast a spell on a bonus action? Oh, no. It
Certain
can't
ones,
be one
yes.
action.
There are certain spells that do require only a bonus action to cast. I don't think you have any at the moment.
No, I don't.
Yeah, everything looks like one action for you at the moment. So,
Okay, well, I will just move close to...
also, so you're aware, if you go to the actions panel and click on bonus actions, it'll list bonus actions, including spells under it.
Right.
Just for referencing later.
Okay, I see it. So yeah, I'm gonna move towards the guy sitting on the desk.
I will say you could offhand your dagger.
That's what I was gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you move into the guy at the desk. It's only like a 10-foot movement at most.
Mhm.
More like
Right.
6 or 7, really. But
Then I'll bonus action offhand. I'm gonna stick his hand to the desk.
ooh, okay. Make the We'll go with an athletics check for this. Actually, like a grappling almost.
Damn, I suck at that.
I mean,
Huh.
use your use your dagger to hit. Actually, yeah.
Slightly better.
Okay. All right, so I gotta beat a 12 with his athletics check. Let me pull that up real quick. Of course, he sucks at this. Great. 7 total. All right, so his hand is pinned. I will consider him restrained as far as status effect. Do? That's yours. Ember, you have an action, movement, and bonus action of your choosing.
So I'm going to move directly up to him
Mhm.
and put my dagger at his throat.
Well, there's still the crossbowman standing there. He's kind of been blasted in the chest with some eldritch energy, but
I thought
he's
you
still
said he
up.
was down.
No, he's up. The guy by the desk that was sitting on it now has his hand pinned to it. Stabbed
know.
through his hand.
But Kerrigan,
No, he took a hit.
you said he's down. At least I heard you say he's down, so I assumed you meant he's dead.
My apologies on that one. No, he's still standing.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still got some hit points left.
In that case, I am going to how does attacking with 2 weapons work?
So,
Because I do have the bonus action of 2-weapon fighting.
okay, so when you roll for your damage on the second weapon, it's a situation of no ability modifier to it. So for you on Ember with your weaponry, let's see here.
So like
If
the
you
dagger
would,
would be 1d4.
it would just be the D4. You would not get the +4.
Okay.
And then as an action, you get 1 attack anyway. So with that one, a normal action, attack action, you'd get the D4 with it, the +4 with it.
Okay. So I am going to have both my daggers out. I'm
Okay.
going to use the first action to do a slashing attack
Okay.
at the individual with the crossbow that's still standing.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll. Okay. Make a damage roll. You hit.
Only one. 05. There we go.
Okay.
That roll was an accident.
You're good. And then you're going to the second guy, I'm assuming?
Yes, I am going to move up to the second guy and put my dagger at their throat still.
Okay. So he's restrained, so it would be with advantage anyway, so there's nothing really to roll unless you're trying to slit or anything like that. So at this point in time, you have 1 restrained and 1 dead completely. As far as like mechanics go of the combat, you guys kind of give each other that knowing look and then split off. You see an Eldritch Blast immediately hit the crossbowman in the chest, takes it like a step back from it as you follow up with the blade right behind it to just right across the throat line. Boom, done, drops him. And then Kerrigan slams the dagger through the hand sitting on the desk already into the desk, pinning his one hand, restraining him. As you come up on the other side and just put the blade to his throat, stand there next to him. Technically, at this point in time, until a further combat action goes or he can pull his hand away, y'all are free to do what you would like at this point because he's restrained and can't do anything, engagement wise.
I'd like to drop my illusion.
Oh, okay. Let me give him a history check. Okay. There's a 19 on that history check. Immediately, he looks dead at you, and you could. His face changes from like pain and shock to immediate recognition to just utter scorn. Like, out of all the people in the universe, fuck you in particular. You know what I mean? And he kind of Kerrigan.
So, do you have the clothes or not?
Depends. Is there any real chance of me walking out of this alive?
Where's the cult at? The Heralds of Desolation. Where did they go?
Make an intimidation check with advantage. You're backed up by another individual with a blade in his throat, as well as
24.
Yeah. They moved on.
Where?
Think they tell people like me? I sell information.
Obviously, you have very little.
When it comes to them, yeah, they don't really talk much.
Nothing. You can give me nothing about them?
I mean, nothing concrete. Whispers and rumors.
Like?
One rumor says they went to Skyhaven or operating out of there. Another one says they're in Solstrom prepping for some big, event there. Another one says they've moved on to, Jorgen and operating out of the Orcish Empire. Another one says they're...
I get it. Thank you. Just
you
give
know
me the
how they
clothes,
operate.
and we'll be on our way.
That's going to be difficult.
Why?
And he kind of slowly raises up his other hand and taps the second button on his shirt that he's wearing, and the whole outfit shifts.
You shy to get naked in front of a couple women?
Let's go with that. That sounds better. And he's like, I mean, give me an insight check. Either one of you, if you want. Okay. Yeah, you both know what he means. He is fully aware that if he takes this outfit off right this second without, some assurance that he's going to live through this, he knows he's dead. He is fully certain that you are going to kill this shit out of him.
Well, you're testing my patience. So would you like to die now or possibly live, depending on how fast you get those clothes off?
Fair point. Kind of looks down at the hand still pinned to the desk with your knife.
I pull it out.
All right. At which point he takes off the clothes reluctantly and just kind of starts folding it up on the table. Strips down to his, his knickers in that regard, and just sets it on the desk at the thing. And goes, "Not hiding anything now, am I?"
Not really. Well, thank you. I take the clothes.
Look, Kerrigan, I had nothing to do with that business. Don't get me wrong. Rob somebody, sure. Kill somebody if need be. Steal a kid, no.
Well, if you hear
I
anything,
draw the
let me
line.
know.
I don't think I will, but if I do, where should I leave word?
Whatever the name of the inn that you meant.
Okay.
The Crystal Heart.
Yeah, the Crystal Heart.
Yeah.
All right. I know the place. I wonder if that girl's still working there. I'm talking about that, God, what was her name? Ren and Cecilia. Oh, yeah, Cecilia. That's her name. She's a good girl and relays messages occasionally for a couple gold. If I find anything I'll leave it with her.
Good doing business with you.
Wish I could say the same as he kind of holds up, looking through the hole in his hand.
Lower the dagger from his throat and start to back away.
All right. You can
See you later.
immediately kind of rubs the neck a little bit, and yeah, definitely a code brown.
Oh, it smells in here.
So you have acquired Shift Weave. You can add it to your inventory and stuff like that if you so choose, or if you're passing it on to Ember for uses or whatever.
Passing it on to Ember.
All right. You can find that under Inventory, Manage Inventory. If you use the search bar, you can find Shift Weave. I can't hear a word she's saying.
So sure of yourself you are.
I already added it. I was very prepared. I knew exactly where to go.
Fair enough. All right. So yeah, you guys step back out in the alleyway, I guess, at this point. Yeah. What are you guys doing at this point? That was pretty rapid and intense conversation, I must say so.
I'm very scared for the level of calculation in this group, plus the level of chaos in the other group. Because it's going to be like the three of us taming those or just pointing those in the directions we want shit destroyed, basically.
Yes.
I say we find a bathhouse, and then I can shift the change the shift weave to suit our needs, and then I say we go meet up at the Crystal Heart for getting back with Rasben.
I could use a bath. Let's go.
All right. So you guys make your way over to a decent, reputable bathhouse. Not much. It's only 2 copper per person. So it's real cheap to get in and get a good bath cleaned up and that type of stuff. It does have heated water and things of that nature, saunas and things. You guys get cleaned up, I'd say maybe like 30, 40 minutes. Yeah. Really get yourself cleaned up properly. No issues there. You guys did mention wanting to hit the library. Is that before or after you guys head back to the Crystal Heart?
My thought is after, because I feel like it would be best for Rasben to be there as well.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. All right. So you guys make your way over back to the middle tier and then over to the Crystal Heart. At this point in time, Rasben, you'd actually be approaching it around the same time frame, within like a couple minutes of each other, so shouldn't be too bad there. Crystal Heart is actually not a bad establishment. If you think of like a small tavern or like a small town tavern or something like that, that what you would think is the ideal fantasy world small tavern, that's kind of what this embodies as far as aesthetics go. You have a pretty well lit interior, smell of fresh baked bread, a good strong ale permeating the air, even out from the street level. Some singing inside from some kind of minstrel of some sort. And you kind of, as you guys are approaching, you kind of see bouncing around between tables, dropping off ale and stuff like that. Very smiling and happy tavern wench, essentially.
Just out of curiosity, is this tavern also an inn as well?
No, this one is just a tavern.
Okay.
I mean, it does have a second story, but as you guys see, like the stairwell to it is external.
Property.
Yeah, that's like their house above it.
Cool.
At this point in time, you guys are you going in to eat, or are you just meeting up outside?
We'll meet up outside, discuss what we've discovered and what we required, and then go from there.
Okay. I will say, for those not from the city, it's kind of a a bit of a culture shock around the Central Spire, where these like taverns and different like restaurants and things like that are located on the middle tier. You do see a lot of foot traffic. It's busier. Yeah, I mean, there are people off to the side of the main thoroughfare and stuff like that, closer to the buildings that are like talking, having conversations and things of that nature. Um, think Times Square. You know what I mean? That level of like foot traffic around the Central Spire, people coming and going and moving things and carts carrying stuff around. I use the term cart loosely because it's more like a hovering platform that gets drug around by automatons. But generally, that's the aesthetic of everything around you. After a few minutes, you guys all do meet back up together, and you may converse as needed.
I got some decent info. Did y'all get anything? Or how did you... Well, it's very loud here. Y'all want to get something to eat?
Sure.
Sure, we can discuss over food.
Awesome. We're going there. Crystal Tavern, right?
Crystal Heart.
Thank you.
All right. So you guys make your way inside. The interior is pleasant. Yeah, I mean, lit pretty well all over. No like shady dark corner type thing or anything like that. It's think Applebee's but medieval. You know what I mean? Kind of
The
thing.
old Applebee's.
Yeah, it's seat yourself type of situation. So you kind of go over, grab a table off to the side a little bit, and after about maybe a minute, this very bubbly waitress approaches you guys and kind of sets out a few cups and is like, "So, welcome to the Crystal Heart. My name's Celia. I will be your waitress this evening. What can I get you started on?"
I would be good for an ale, and
Okay.
I'll take a chicken with some. Do you have any green? What do you have for greens here?
We do offer a full complement salad as well as some different vegetables and stuff as sides with the chicken meal we do offer. We do have a special today for 2 coppers. You will receive a beef stew, as well as at the end of it, you may keep the bowl as your own personal use.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll do that at
I'll
least.
take a stew. Yeah.
Beef stew sounds good to me too.
All right. 3 stews. I got 1 ale so far. Any drinks for either of the ladies?
Wine.
Wine.
Just water for me.
And pitcher of water. Heard. And you see her like just walk off. Takes about, I'd say maybe 10 minutes. As she you see her stop at a couple tables, and then she comes back out with a tray and delivers your guys' food. Okay, we have 1 ale. I went ahead and went with the darker stout, and she kind of slides it over to you, and then goes, and for the lady, a red wine, and slides it over to you, and sets the pitcher down and the cup down with some ice in it already, and says, and for the miss, the water. And then sets the stews out.
Thank you.
Passes out some utensils and things like that. That'll be in total. Does the math, comes up. She's like, that will be on a singular bill. That will be 3 copper pieces in total for the drinks and the food, for each individual, or as a whole group, 9 copper in total. Or if you're feeling generous, and she kind of smiles, 1 silver.
I'll hand her a silver.
What's the conversion from gold, by the way?
10 copper is 1
Oh.
silver. 10 silver is 1 gold.
I'm showing her in D&D.
I forgot it had it in there.
I didn't realize it either, and I've been on that page.
So, takes the silver. Thank you very much, ma'am. If
And
you
that-
need
and
anything
that's-
else,
For clarity, that sounded like Luna just paid for everything with
Yeah.
the single silver, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
if you guys need anything else or anything, just give me a wave, and I'll come over and get you refills or fresh bowl of stew if you need.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. And she kind of goes off to the next one, and like goes picks up drinks and stuff, and comes back and starts setting everything doing
Yep. I
her little thing.
to Kerrigan. You're feeling very generous. Thank you for paying for everyone's meal here.
Well, we got what we wanted earlier, so I'm feeling good.
What did you guys accomplish while I was off learning about, well, the Hunters Guild, as it were?
We got our hands on some fancy clothes.
Oh?
Yes, it was thankfully quite easy to acquire.
Easy?
Old
Okay.
friend owed me a favor.
Nice to see that favors are so prolific here in town, in your hometown. That's... Well, this actually might go better than expected. I unfortunately, I begun my entrance into the Hunters Guild. Unfortunately, the only available trainer today was a haphazard old human of a man. So our campsite may be a bit delayed for that route. And unfortunately, apparently, there's no good inns of a sort on the 3rd tier. So if we're going to have... Should this take too long, we may need to just have our exit route either with the ship, unfortunately, or lay very low in town. So
You mean the first tier?
Yeah,
The bottom
invert
one?
that.
okay, it's 3rd tier is lower where the Hunters Guild was.
3rd tier is the upper floor where the King's Castle is.
So 1st tier.
It's an elevator.
I really think I've inverted this in my head, actually.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
halfway through this session, I've inverted it. I'm retarded, clearly. So yeah.
I know you're
Lo-
writing it down wrong the whole time. I was just like, I wonder if he's ever gonna realize it.
I will not. I will forever stay in my ignorance. I'm just going to refer to lower, mid, and top tier. That's what I'm going to do from now on. I can't confuse myself with numbers. Fuck you. In any case. Alright, I'm trying to get back into fucking character now. Gosh, guys. In any case, yeah, we're... But that's just day 1, so we may be able to still find ourselves a campsite and a means to have a place to stay outside the city after things occur.
Did you get anything else from the individual outside of there only being one poor middle-aged hunter that was not adequate to train?
Let me check my notes.
I love when I know his notes better than he does.
It happens.
Yes, the suggested inn by the Hunters Guild proprietor is the Skinned Shark Inn. Have you heard of that before at all, Kerrigan?
Have I DM?
Yeah, you've heard of it. It's one of the decent places on the middle tier. Not too overly costly, but safe and secure enough. They have pretty heavy bars that lock the door from the inside. So, trying to get into it.
I don't remember hearing anything bad about it, so it can't be awful.
Wonderful. So there is another location we might have for our needs as they were.
Well, and that could be a good option for tonight while we're doing our research to properly infiltrate the nobles further down the line.
Infiltrate the nope. Have you all been planning any extra strategies for this?
I thought you were there for this conversation.
You know, I might have been. Physically.
He's your group's kobold.
So, what I guess you weren't paying attention to was that typically when I travel, I usually end up staying with the nobles. I usually a friendly noble ends up housing me in their lodgings. And based on our plans, that could be beneficial.
Did you think we just got fancy clothes just because?
Above the table, I was just saying yes and in my head. I unfortunately have the type of like brain that's where like this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm doing right now, and then I unfortunately go very dead to what's happening around me. It's not a good trait by any means. So,
Well, then it's a good thing that you only have to be the bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel profiled and stereotyped.
100%.
God damn
I
it!
need you to be the big scary Minotaur guy. Go.
Clearly
Just stand there and look intimidating.
done.
Hopefully he doesn't fail his intimidation.
I mean,
Above table, if he fails intimidation, I'm gonna be really sad.
Proficient, but not confident. How about that?
it's not bad score. Oh man. All right, so you guys enjoy your meal for a bit. You're discussing your plan to impersonate nobility from a foreign land and work your way into the nobles to gain better access. In that regard, you did mention hitting up the library to gather information on the nobles of the city, as well as maybe even foreign dignitaries. It maybe at least get you a name to drop the right way.
I say that once we're done with our lovely meal here, which by the way has been delicious, I'm very happy with this bowl. I'm going to wear it as a hat. I'd say we head to the library so that we can make sure we're all properly informed of what we're getting ourselves into. Don't judge the hat.
See a little bit of stew kind of trickle. That little last you can't just get out the bowl type thing, you know?
I wiped this bowl out before I put it on my head.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I did not just take a bath to put stew on my head.
That bowl has been licked clean.
You know? But it's alright. Yeah, so you guys finish up your meal. Decent meal overall. For the prospects of supporting your current lifestyles, I would say for the day you've already spent in total roughly about a silver plus. So if your lifestyle is in that category, you've already met the requirements, so you won't have a problem there. Get your ale and everything like that. As soon as like you guys start to finish off the last bit of your drinks and the bowls are kind of empty, Celia comes back over and goes, is there anything else I can get you guys? Dessert, more drinks, anything at all?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed. And she starts immediately like wiping down the table, picking up the glasses, putting them close together and stuff. Like, I hope you had a good meal and everything, and I hope to see you guys again in the future. Other than that, have a wonderful day.
Above table, is she really not going to comment on me wearing the bowl on my head?
No, she's too courteous to.
Cecilia, right?
Yes, Celia.
Celia.
Celia Ludain, actually.
Out of character. Is that the name that I was given by the other guy?
Yes.
Because I wrote down Cecilia. I must have misheard you.
Well, no. Her Cecilia is her first name. The waitress. Ludain is her last name, but it is a name you all three recognize as it's the guy or the noble family name that you're about to rob.
I see. Well, I'm expecting messages at some point, and
Okay.
my informant gave me your name, that he would drop the information with you if that time were to come. So I'll be by every so often. If you do have information for me, I will pay you for it.
Okay, that's quite all right. If I'm here or whatever the case may be, yeah, I'll happily relay messages and stuff like that, as long as there's nothing too unseemly about it. Obviously, you
I'm
can't.
just trying to find my family. Name's
Oh
Kerrigan.
no, then by all means, Miss Kerrigan, I will relay messages if your friend drops by.
Thank you.
I mean, sweetest girl ever.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at something above table because Aaron added the bowl to his inventory.
I would. You never know when that junk's gonna get to be sold back to a vendor for a couple coppers to save your butt.
Called it Bowl from Crystal Heart Tavern, and I was trying to mime to him the name of the tavern we were at.
Yeah, Crystal Heart Tavern, etched in the bottom of the bowl.
I was aware that I couldn't go to my notes to like reread what the name of the full. I had the crystal part. I had tavern, but heart just clear over my head. Cool.
So good.
I'm good for us to head for the Skin Shark Inn for the eve.
Library.
Oh, the library for the. What time of day is it at? I'm losing track of that.
Honestly, it's about like 4:30 max.
Okay, yeah, then we're plenty good
So,
for.
do you want to secure a room at the tavern or the inn before we go to the library? Rasben?
I can go secure 2 or 3 rooms, and while you guys go find the library and get started, just let me know what library I should look for. Do you have a library in mind, Kerrigan?
Whichever one is nearby. DM.
Yeah, they're just referred to as the library. Well, actually, in the military, they're called the twin libraries. They technically carry the same books and stuff like that, but they're located on opposite ends of the circle that makes up the central spire. The reason why they're separated and stuff in that regard is spacing. They couldn't go tall enough technically, so they just shifted it. Because airspace is a thing here. Because you do see like small sky coaches and things of that nature that do take cargo from the docks into the city. So the airspace above the buildings can only go to a certain height. Whereas on the lowest floor, it can go all the way up to the ceiling. It don't matter. And then on the upper floor, there's nothing above, so they can just go up however. But
yeah,
middle tier kind of splits it.
Unless these two have any pushback, then I go with them to the library just to verify where the hell I'm going, and then I can go secure the tavern and then come back for any extra study or whatnot.
We'll give you the cliff notes once you get back.
Yeah.
You don't need to know nearly as much, considering you're just a bodyguard, I would presume.
My role is very, either bodyguard or I'm off creating a distraction as far as I remember what the plan is, because I clearly have missed the updates on the plan because I, as a player, am retarded, so...
You're clearly just as distracted as those kobolds were.
I thought I saw them back there by the restaurant looking for us.
I'm not gonna lie, I was picking up the dice to roll it as you said it.
I was actually about to ask you when they're in the middle of that fight. I'm like, am I anywhere nearby, by the way? Like, just kind of want to come into the middle of this intimidation. Like, oh.
So
this is a scene.
I will say it like this: as because Rasben's headed off to secure the rooms at the inn,
more
the
or less,
Skin
yeah.
Shark. While Ember and Kerrigan head off to the library closest to it, to check out the information. So, Rasben gets to the inn. Innkeeper looks at you and goes, "How's it going?
Good, and you?"
Still above ground, so I can't complain too much.
Indeed. I'm just looking for 3 rooms for the night.
Silver piece for each room.
Wonderful.
Hand over the silver. He slides coins. Each one has a number marked on it. You have 7, 8, and then 12.
You're gonna have to minus 1
That's the
gold
rooms.
piece and then add 10 silver pieces.
And he slides the keys across the
Hold
counter.
on.
to you as he takes the silver.
Hold on. Minus 1 gold piece, and then add, what, 10 silver pieces?
Yes.
Technically 7 if you don't want to do the negative again.
I'm adding 10 here, right?
Yes. And then
Yeah.
we'll minus 3.
Okay. I understand. I'm understanding what happened there. Okay. Yeah, so that's silver paid for the night. What was the extra question?
He takes the 3 silver and then he
Mhm.
slides 3 coins. Rooms 7, 8, and 12 are the rooms that you guys have. And he hands you the keys and goes, Any luggage that needs to be brought in off ship, or
No,
kind of
no.
looks you over and goes, "No, it looks like you don't have any much."
Do shark. Hold on.
Well, we do offer a breakfast in the morning. It can be brought to your room.
What were the room numbers again?
Extra.
7.
7, 8, and 12.
Thank you. Keep going.
We do offer breakfast in the morning that can be brought to your room. It'll be set outside on a tray for you to pick up as you fit. That costs a little extra silver in that regard, but it is available.
Wonderful.
Outside of that, if you have equipment that needs cleaning or anything like that, I can give you a laundry bag and you can stick whatever you need to into it and we'll wash it overnight and get it back to you in the morning. That also costs 5 copper. Do you need any of these services?
Not obviously right now. Just trying to get things
All right.
set up. Thank you for this.
Not a problem, and hope you have a pleasant stay.
Thank you. I'm sure we will.
So while you're doing this, Ember and Kerrigan, you approach the library, and you do see the 6 kobolds staring at the library and kind of looking around occasionally.
Chris got a successful roll.
I did for once.
Keep in mind, I didn't change my hair back.
Nope, you still got that brown hair, right? Yeah. So they're kind of looking as you guys approach the library. I'm gonna make the perception check as you guys pass by, unless you're interacting with them in some way. Three in total. It was higher this time. I got a 6. You guys just walk past. As you guys go to walk past, they each turn the other way and look around at the crowd again as you just kind of walk right between them. These fucking kobolds. God damn it.
You dice really don't like these
No,
kobolds, apparently.
you really don't. Oh, so you guys walk right into the library. Older gentleman sitting behind the front counter to the library. Long gray, beard, nicely trimmed and managed and stuff like that. Longer hair, but you could definitely tell that the hairline has jumped back a bit. But still well maintained, well groomed. Nice robes, not fancy, but nice. Looks at the 2 ladies and he's, "Welcome to the library. How can I assist you this evening? I am Lord Master Tiberius. There's a particular volume of study you wish to find?"
History of Elistine nobility, perhaps genealogy. Can you point us to the section?
Yes, I can. It's this way, and he kind of slowly shovels his way down. For a point of reference, if you've ever seen like Game of Thrones, think Grandmaster Pycelle.
I was
That
thinking
old
of that
bastard.
wrinkly bastard.
Yeah, that kind of aesthetic, but with much nicer robes. He gets around because it's a circular room overall with a very central circular pillar that goes up a ways with rotating ladder on it, as well as a few platforms you do see kind of hovering about 3 to 4 inches off the floor.
Was he the really cute old dude?
Are we still talking about Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
He was the old dude that was a part of the council, the small council or whatever.
Yeah, that bearded motherfucker right there might be. Yeah, that kind of fits.
Yeah. So he gets over a little ways and he goes, "All right, how far back are you looking to go?"
Recent. This current generation.
Generation, about 30 years at least. He goes over and he pulls 3 like 4-inch thick volumes off the shelf and just kind of tilts them sideways and Here's your start.
What fun.
Additionally, do
Genealogy.
you have any volumes on elven nobles that have moved into the city from other places?
It would take a bit of research, but I think I do have something in mind. But here, and he kind of takes the tomes, goes to the side, and just lets him go, and one of the little platforms comes off and sits underneath it before it even moves. And he's like, this way, and the platform and him start moving over to a table. So at the table, so like the platform lands and sets, and he goes, I'll let you get started on those. I'll have to look into the recent immigration of elven nobility. I might have to cross-reference, and he kind of just muttering to himself as he starts to walk off, unless someone stops him. All right, so he'll go off and leave you guys with the 3 books. The Genealogical Histories of Elistine, a Tale of the Families and Births, I think is what it was originally. Let me. Yep. Tales of Births. Well, it's the other way. It's the Tales of Births and Genealogical History of Elistine. I had it backwards.
They always do like a good light read.
So, for the purposes of this, we're going to do this as a skill challenge for each of you. One of you can aid the other, and that'll grant advantage, or you can each roll separately. It's up to you. But we will be doing an intelligence check after an investigation check.
How are you at researching?
I was gonna ask you the same question. My investigation's +3, but my intelligence is only 12. So not
I
my strong
guess
suit.
I guess you can assist me.
I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
So investigate first.
Yes, an investigation check with advantage. Oh, and since you last used D&D Beyond system, if you right-click on the field you're going to roll for, it'll show advantage, disadvantage,
Look at
stuff like
that.
that. So up to you if you want to throw another one, just single roll and count it as the advantage, or if you want to
Yeah.
try to roll completely new with advantage, it's up to you. I don't care either way.
No, I'll change it next time. Yeah, okay. So 15.
So 15. You do find some stuff of note. More recently, there's been a change kind of placed where there was a individual by the name of Robert Garrick, who was a head noble of the Elistine House of Garrick, who recently died and was replaced by his younger brother, Bane Garrick.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So Bane Garrick is actually the current head of household for the Garrick estate, being managed by an individual named. Hang on, give me 1 second. Where is Garrick? 1 second. Okay, so yeah, it's Ben Garrick's the current lord of the house. However, his current property is being ran by an individual named Estra Longan. Very odd name, no surname to it at all.
ESTRALAGEN.
Yes. Yeah. I have a harder time pronouncing it than it should be, but my brain in that word doesn't work. What happens when you let players name stuff? So, but he is currently managing House Garrick's estate. That is something of note you do find in the first book. as a recent change that may be advantageous to exploit. Secondary to that, they are one of the more profitable trade families. Not just here, but in a second city. They are one of the few houses that actually share a dual nobility in two cities. One being here, one being in Solstrom. But that's what you find from the first book. Go ahead and make the intelligence check. What's up? Okay. So with the 15, possible approaches for this one would be posing as someone who was sent to stay at Garrick Estate and stuff like that, waiting for the Lord's return for business purposes. That would be an easy way in for that one. All right. Trade merchant, that type of thing, would be the easy in for that. And then, whenever you got your note down, go ahead and get your next investigation check. You got one more book after this. Don't forget you have advantage.
Oh shit. 19.
Okay, so 19. With that one, you do see, funnily enough, I have to pull up a different file now. I did not expect you to roll that high. Okay, so you do see a listing for nobility under the name Curcio, Curcio. With that one, it's listed as a current nobility as a female head of house, the lady Curcio. And there she's described as being human, tall, dark black hair, with pale blue eyes. No listing of holdings or anything like that, so this seems to be more of inherited wealth and nobility, not so much earned. Whereas Garrick's is an earned nobility. And then, whenever you're ready, go ahead and throw your intelligence check for this one. 17? Weird, it didn't show up again on here. Freaking D&D Beyond's being weird tonight with the rolling.
It's weird that you can't see it because I even saw it come up.
It's freaking out every once in a while because, well, my game log goes back a lot farther as a DM. So I've got, like, checks from last session with the other group still in the order. So I think that's probably why it's freaking out a little bit. It's just weird loads. But no, the 17, this one without more information is going to be a hard approach to try to get in on. But nothing to say that it couldn't work. It's just without more details on it or checking into it a bit more, this book doesn't give you enough information to roll off of. As far as like a plan of approach.
Okay.
Okay, and for your final book.
Roll
Oh.
again.
Yeah.
Oof. That one's not great. Okay, so
Can you use your reroll?
I mean, you can mulligan that roll entirely if you'd like.
So if I mulligan, do I get to redo both rolls?
Yes, it is redoing of the entirety of the roll, so you'd have advantage again.
All right, let's do it.
All right, go ahead and throw it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Nice. Okay.
I still rolled a 1 again, by the way.
Yeah, I see that. Thank God for advantage. So on the last one, it is Lord Capetta, Cappetta.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Lord Capetta, Cappetta.
Okay.
Is he like a Don?
Kind of. He's the only one listed with an adventure ranking. He is a gold plate.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So typically adventurers in nobility usually means one of two things. Someone tried to prove themselves and obviously was successful in this regard, or they earn that nobility through their actions as an adventurer, which could prove difficult. But further information would be needed. Outside of that, they do have a holding here in the city, meaning they actually do own one of the estates on the upper tier. And the only other one that had that was Garrick, which their holding is a lot larger. So, go ahead and give me the intelligence check. With a 15 on this one, honestly, an approach on this probably wouldn't go well in any way, shape, or form unless you were already an adventurer yourself.
So we might have to go back to that weird guy at the Adventurers Guild. If we want to
Possibly.
pursue this one. Okay.
Possibly. At this point, Rasben, you approach the library. Nat fucking one. You see the kobold right between them guns. That's 3 down, that one's. That's a -2 on perception to notice you.
I love that I knew what that exact was before you even explained it.
Damn, these kobolds, man. Like, at this point, the dice gods just hate them. 3 nat ones, and like half their rolls are nat
You
ones at this
haven't
point.
gotten above a 10.
No,
the
not
whole
once. Oh, aside from their initial perception check to notice you, which was a 12, when you weren't hiding then.
Narratively, this is perfection.
Oh, yeah. So you walk right through them, they go right up, and much like they did with the other previous group, as you go to walk between them, they all kind of turn, look around, like hearing something, and then don't notice it, and you're already through the door.
You even like say "excuse me," and they're like, "Oh, sorry."
Step. God. All right, so
Fantastic.
you make your way inside. There's an old man floating around on a little disc, like grabbing a couple books. Be with you momentarily.
Can I just notice where where Kerrigan and them are?
They're sitting at a table with a couple books.
Fantastic. All right. I have 3 rooms for us tonight secured. What have we learned so far?
A bunch of stuff about a bunch of nobles.
So far we have 3 possible people that we've researched. One of them is more viable than the other 2. But we do need some more information to really come to a decision. And we're still waiting on a few more books.
So should I just go ahead and just have a roll for trying to be helpful in this research? Because, like...
I mean, it's entirely up to you as the point of reference in this situation. Like, they've got 3 approaches for nobility in the city as far as what they have information-wise.
Yeah.
From here, they're trying to figure out their side of the approach now.
Mm-hmm.
So, to this point, it's a couple more minutes as you guys are conversing before old man comes, like, slowly shuffling over with another plate with a few books on it.
I mean, he's not standing on the plate and it's not doing the shuffling for him.
Nope. He lands back where it belongs and then shuffles across the ground because, he's stubborn like that. Finally sits, gets over to the table and goes, I was available to find a few things. We have immigration logs for individuals coming and going from the city that are becoming permanent residency here. And he sets this like thick book down, and then he's like, and then we have histories of the Elven Flotilla, written by Lore Master Gren, which he was kind of crazy. And he sets the book down. He has another. He's like, "This is the chieftains of Jorgen, a personal favorite of mine when I was younger." And he sets it down, and it goes. It describes in great detail the chieftains of the Orcish tribes and how they rose to noble status beneath the war chief of Jorgen. Quite a good read, in my opinion. But if there's nothing else, I shall return to my previous duties, and he kind of spots that the other nobility books are off to the side. If you're finished, I'll reshelve those.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are. Thank you.
He shuffles around, and picks up the books, puts them on a plate, and walks over, takes another floating disc up to put them back.
I think he's like 1,000 years old.
Gotcha. At least acts like it.
Is he human?
Kinda.
I'm gonna do a
perception check.
Go for it.
One.
Oh.
A
A dirty one.
Yeah, he's probably human.
I actually like. I'm a bit over 1,000 years old, and I just want to slide like one of my. What do I have? Coppers over here.
My money's on that.
One of my one of my silvers. Yeah, one of my silvers over that I have. I'm just gonna slide a silver over to like to a Kerrigan.
Pull
Like-
start.
Over 1,000 years old.
I'll take that on. Sure.
I totally think he's only like 80, 90 years old. Totally not older than that.
I have yet to hear what his race is, so I'm betting very blindly right now.
So am I. I failed my perception check.
Yep.
Well, I mean, just think about it. He probably knows every book in this building by heart. He's got to be real old for that.
I'll begrudgingly accept that logic.
Alrighty, I have noted.
You could ask him next time he comes around to pick up books.
I have noted the bet for future
Alright.
purposes.
So, where do you want to start in the books? Because you have 3 books here.
Just between the 3 of us, I think the book on Orcish nobility probably wouldn't work for us.
Someone's admitted they don't want to be ugly in this house.
I'm just not sure it's the best option. We can always start there and see if it has any useful information, of course. Never want to turn down information.
If you have preference, I'll just take the orc book and get started there.
So I've been having Kerrigan review the books because he clearly has higher investigation skill than I do, and I tried once and I failed. So we're letting Kerrigan do the research. Better at it.
I mean, you were avoiding that book anyway. He can make a roll.
Go for it.
You want to do it?
Investigate.
Yep. Investigation. And then if you pass that, we'll go to intelligence.
18.
10 total.
Alright, so Kerrigan, you're doing which one?
What's Kerrigan doing?
I'm sorry?
Which one are you doing? He was rolling on the Orcish.
Yeah, I was running on the book of orc.
Uh,
Nobility
Rasben's
one.
got the Book of Orky.
I'll do the not elven one.
So that's the immigration one.
Whichever one has nothing to do with elves.
Gotcha. Okay, so for the immigration book, it goes over recent like transfers to the city, different stuff like that. There has been a few humans, a few elves from other cities coming to make residence here for mercantile trade and business. There's a few who have been earmarked into the entry as entering the city under the leisure category. In particular, you do see a couple names that kind of stand out a little bit, mostly in the way they're written. They have a bit more elegance to their handwriting. It's more practiced, more purposeful.
Mhm.
And these two are listed as coming out of New Altera.
And what are their names?
Okay, let me pull that up real quick. I actually have that. Not in that one. Where is the other?
Sorry.
Un momento, por favor. I must locate my other binder. Because I thought it was in here already. One sec.
Man, we've just been making you run around for shit.
This is a very information dense group.
Chris has had to give us so much information. Especially with those dope rolls from Kerrigan.
DM pro tip: always have tabs. Okay, so you have Luke Thomas and Jacob Webb as two listings. They are also listed as humans and male. So that's your two leisure guys.
Okay.
Lots of notes. Put you somewhere out. All right. So that's kind of what you get from that. Go ahead and throw me your intelligence real quick so I can get yours finished up.
Ooh, I'm a dumb.
Uh-oh. All right. Yeah, all these are fine. You could use any one of them.
I got distracted. Yeah. I got bored. That's what it is. I'm tired of reading these damn books.
Yeah,
I take the
pretty much.
information that he gives.
All right, so
and
back
figure
over
out
to our
anything?
Minotaur friend with his Orcus
God.
book.
Sorry, I realized I was talking without pushing the push to talk button. I just rolled a 13 on intelligence. Can I take any of the information that he's told me and glean anything?
I mean, from that, because it's an immigration book of recent traversals, so these are people who have recently showed up in the city already. It's more of a kind of a listing of individuals you probably shouldn't mimic. In that regard, because these people are still here. So using them to blend in and you accidentally might run across them could be a bad idea.
That's fair.
So, what about me?
Unless we're faster with our weapons than they are.
True. Rasben.
My team is like a bunch of like very stealthy murder hobos. That's what I'm getting out of this so far.
Only slightly. And when necessary.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
No idea.
But,
What is murder? I don't know this word.
unalive. I prefer this. So no, as you go through the Orcish book and stuff like that, there's been a few entries in there as far as like nobility and stuff like that that could be useful to your purposes as far as war chiefs and you know tribal chiefs and things of that nature for different clans of the Orcish nation. One of which is a female, fitting for the situation and stuff like that as far as has been explained to you in the plan.
That I clearly recall.
Yep. Go ahead and roll an intelligence check.
Oh, wait. Yo.
Yo, in a stroke,
Wow.
In a stroke of genius, moment,
that no
you
one was
realize
prepared
that-
for.
technically, while listed as an Orcish war chief, this entry is an actual Elvish name, meaning morning dew or morning sun. It's fabled for two reasons, as according to the entries. One is for their beauty, and two, for their deadliness with a blade.
I like it a lot.
Mhm.
Now,
And that's just the two parts of their name, basically.
yeah. It has a couple translations, essentially, depending on which language it's
Yeah.
being translated to, but it is morning dew or morning blade, depending on the language.
Yeah, beauty.
Dew or Morning Blade is the name of the person.
Okay. I'm having my own laugh as morning dew, morning blade. Yeah, just picture a giant ass TV up here, like a 60-inch, and Melanie just gets to
I've seen it.
read these notes as I'm writing them out, and I'm missing whole freaking things, and she just gets to have an aneurysm.
You
the
tell
whole
every
time.
time you start typing, too, because she kind of smiles and starts chuckling here and there.
And also having like faces of panic, disappointment, and judgment.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So I know one of you didn't
Alright.
want to be an orc, but this sounds like a very good prospect for this noble infiltration idea.
Going to grab the book and absorb it.
Alright. So,
What are you eating the book? Like
that's
like an
the
acidic.
Well, I am considering putting my forehead to it and absorbing the information straight from the book that way because that is a thing.
Wait, what?
Rub it against your face.
Osmosis?
Hmm?
It is actually a thing.
You're an acid-based
But
dildo.
that's beside the point.
Fuck you.
Acid-based ditto. That's what I meant to say, not dildo. My apologies.
I see no difference.
Wow.
Anyhow, no, at this point in time, I will say you guys have one book left. If you guys all want to go in on it, that's fine. And then you guys will be headed back to the inn, I'm assuming, for the evening.
Yep.
And then we'll call it there for the evening. But who's doing the throw for the other book, if at all?
Who?
You've been
Who's going
nominated.
for the Elven.
Oh,
Oh.
am I getting assisted?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Holy fuck. Okay, that's
Boom.
that 20 success.
Bop.
So,
Yeah.
Clap, clap.
you got three choices: diplomat, courtesan, or trade merchant. All three females, all three fitting in a general age category, looking like either yourself or as Ember's age.
I think the easiest route would be the merchant for the Garrick estate.
Okay, the merchant. All right. And here's a description. Big book of elfin names. We have all right. All right. Sakala Elthira. So
The what?
SK or SAKAALA EILTHYRA.
Wow.
I go immediately with Althira.
Family
It's
name is
pretty.
actually common in Elvish to use as your public name. Keeping your primary first name as a private thing for family and friends. So, details on her holdings and things of that nature as far as Elistine goes. She has a singular warehouse that she keeps goods and stores in. Outside of that, primary mercantile good that she brings in is actually sung iron wood.
Which is what?
Ironwood is a type of material that is usually sung or carved by elvish nations or things of that regard into multiple weaponry, armor, things of that nature. But it quite literally is as strong or as sturdy as iron itself. Particularly favored amongst druids and things of that nature for weaponry and armor.
Cool.
So, lots of money. Because that's her primary export, yeah.
Would it match with what the Garrick family would?
Well, they're most, like, from reading the book earlier, they're most known for having single-handedly one of the largest airship fleets. They're trade merchants. They just pick up goods from one location, take them to the other, and get paid an exorbitant amount of money to do so.
Would my character know anything about their less than reputable things that they do? Or is that
one?
meta?
House Garrick?
Yeah.
House Garrick. I mean, you would have information that Bane in particular has been seen in the lower cities speaking to Thieves Guild members in previous times. You're not sure what the context of the business would be.
Okay. All right.
But you
I just
definitely
wanna
would
know
have seen
so
him.
I don't meta too hard with that.
Yeah. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you've definitely seen some dealings, but not too much. Yeah, that's what you're able to gather from the Elvish side. Double nat 20s. Well done, sir.
I've never done that.
It was impressive. What a way to like cap the final roll of the evening.
I feel like we really made you work for this part.
A little bit, actually. 'Cause I'm not gonna lie to you. 90% of this was not in the module.
Yeah.
But we're moving.
I was gonna
Sorry.
say I really don't know how this module was supposed to go, but I think we've probably taken left field way the fuck down.
Yeah, pretty much. But we're good with it. We can still get on its track. It works out actually either way. I'm just using secret option C that they mentioned in the module is basically create your own. So I'm just rolling with it.
Yes,
Yes.
this doesn't. I don't think this is going to compare very well over to the chaos nature of the other group, but it definitely is doing a lot of research work. Like, we're going to be highly detailed on this. We're not taking chances.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, contrasting wise, it is the difference between boot to door, kick down door, stomp on bad guy face, I'm good. Versus, I'm going to surgically strike this dude with a knife from 100 meters away and just drop him in the middle of a crowd with nobody noticing.
Kobolds in the background still
if
looking
you're
for
gonna
us.
fucking do it, you may as well do it the second way.
So, at this point in time, you guys have concluded your research aspect of this. Realizing you guys are stacking books up and stuff, the old man will come back over and his little shuffle. I hope everything was in order.
Hey, quick question, and I hope I'm not being rude, but how old are you?
1,127.
Fuck, God damn it.
Let's go! Pay up!
How much
Thank you,
did
sir.
we wager?
It was a silver piece.
This one's
Silver
silver.
piece.
Okay. There you go.
It's like he's over 1,000. I was like, okay. Yeah, he was. Yeah, this lore master's old as shit. He's actually funnily enough outside game for a second there, but he's considered one of the blessed ones. Descendancy bloodline from a celestial that actually prevents him going further in age at a certain category of progression. Normally, this strikes in the early 20s, early 30s at the latest. His didn't kick in until he was 83. So he's just permanently 83. until someone offs him. So, but that is the lore master. At which point he's like, "There's nothing else," and he collects the books and puts them on a little plate and starts moving away. Unless you guys have something you want to ask him or talk to him about, you're good. We're moving on.
Thanks for all the help.
No problems, miss. Hope you all have a wonderful evening.
You as well, sir.
Okay. Fucking kobolds! That's what, like 5 now?
4? That's at least 4 or 5.
Fuck!
Didn't you roll 2 nat ones that first? Like,
yeah.
And there's been 2 more nat ones, and then this is a third one, so
yeah,
5.
It's the 5 nat ones for the kobolds to locate you two, or all of you as a group, and like, fuck! You guys walk out. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, and they all move out of the way, looking directly at you, but have no fucking recollection. Same 6-2. They're all together.
This is why you don't hire kobolds.
Nope.
I think it's
Manual
the fact
labor,
that my
yes.
hair is brown instead of red, you know?
We're
Probably
going with
was
it.
really thrown off.
So you guys make your way over to the inn unaccosted. Get a good room for the night. As you guys get into the rooms, there is a very nice feather bed set up, hard iron frame. And Luna's gonna giggle at this. It's on the placard on the footboard. It says Ulfgard's Ironworks.
Nice. That's great.
But yeah, the beds are really nice, everything like that. There is a heavy iron door, like latch, like it's a solid bar on the door that just shoves into the wall set, so your room door does not get kicked in unless you allow it. Outside of that, not much else really in that regard. And we'll call it there for the evening.